Oh, damn it. If I ate even one more thing while we were there.
Yeah, I ate so much. It was.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, and the
it
food,
was irresponsible.
The food was so good, Peeb, that when I brushed my teeth, it made me sad. Yeah. I wanted to keep with me forever.
Just lick the back of your teeth all day long. And then this morning, I started my day off with an egg McMuffin. Okay.
Oh, nice.
Just going from that to yeah.
Because yesterday's filth was today's lubricant. That's how it goes.
Exactly. Yeah. And boy, I have just been shitting. It's just been a constant funnel. I might as well put like some kind of catheter in there.
That's like when the girlfriend you just broke up with is the one that got away, and then so you just start banging this absolute fucking slam pig of a human being.
Yeah.
It's like I gotta rebound right now.
Yeah.
I don't care who knows how bad this is. It needs to happen. I can't be alone today. And that's what eating an egg McMuffin immediately after eating Peeb's delicious pork
it's
taco.
True. That's actually a great metaphor.
Yeah.
It's also just the most irresponsible way to start your day. Like, you better not have anything to do if the first thing you do when you wake up is get a sausage, egg, and cheese McMuffin from McDonald's.
I feel like it's way more affordable than going to have like an actual colonic done, though, right? You know what I mean? Like, plus a stranger doesn't have to see your butthole, so it's like it's all the perks.
Win-win. None of the downsides.
Yeah, well, and some most of the sandwiches are like $1.27 now, y'all. It's the cheapest way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, please come here. Our employees won't.
It's American healthcare system at work.
So I had a thought the other day, guys, and it's real weird, but I just need you to stay with me on this, okay?
Excellent.
Okay, I'm ready.
Now, you know how like sometimes they say, like, you ever look up at the moon and wonder if your long lost lover or someone special is looking up at that same big wide moon?
Yeah. Okay.
You ever about to blow your load and think, I wonder who else is jacking off right now is going to come with me?
You ever think like your orgasm matches? It has to, right? With somebody like on the planet, like you, but at the same time, the goo comes out. Right?
Yeah. Well, like you have come in unison. You have come in unison with a celebrity at some point, probably.
Yeah.
A porn star, which makes me think, like, what if we did like a weird like Ryan Reynolds body swap movie where like
oh no
where like the reason I switch bodies with him is I just come at the same time as him.
Yeah, you both come and get struck by lightning at the same time. And it makes the orgasm incredible.
Yeah.
The question
David Carradine wish he got that one, right?
Do you have to do it Freaky Friday style where like you're sad jerking off because right at the end you're like, I wish I was someone else, and then you splat?
No, but that makes it better though.
Sad comes are the best.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was a winner.
And that would be a total winner, because that movie would just end with me and Ryan Reynolds stroking out in the same room together. It's like, all right, we got to switch back. This has been fun, but look me in the eyes. Let's do this.
Well, you'd be Ryan Reynolds, so you'd have to come to yourself jerking off, which
true.
Personally, that would be really hard for me.
Well, historically, the point of body swaps in any circumstance is to learn how to love yourself.
Okay.
So, I mean, quite literally, you're going to love yourself.
Yeah. And then you're going to come all over yourself.
I don't know if that's part of it. I don't know if that's what the stipulation is.
Just switch back. You have to come on each other's chests, I think.
I was going to say, the only way I could jerk off looking at myself as, let's say, Chris Hemsworth, random name, totally pulled it out of the air, haven't planned it before.
No reason.
Is if I left his spunk on me, and I'm like, oh, Chris Hemsworth.
Okay.
I don't know. This
and then you have to rub your coming chests together, and that's what causes the...
This was going to be an elevator pitch for my body swap movie, and it just turned into the weirdest thing.
It just turned gross.
Yeah.
We're all hungover. Give us a break, all right? Give us a little pass.
Yeah. It's all right.
Yeah, we had the second Cynical Nerd personal encounter yesterday.
Yeah.
It was quite an arousing occasion.
Was it the first annual Bully Barbecue, or was it the second annual Positive Masculinity Barbecue?
I feel like it was second annual PMBBQ and first the inaugural Bully Barbecue.
Okay.
PMBBQ. Can we give the get together itself a name like you would hear in Game of Thrones? It's like the second annual PMBBQ, the first annual Bully Barbecue.
But
every year it's something new.
It has to be like the Red Wedding level of epic, though, right? We have to like name it something like.
I just feel like every year it has to be something new, but you have to say the previous names too. And so like after like 15 years, it's just like takes 25 minutes to get this fucking name out.
Derek rolls up and someone blows a trumpet to announce, and then he just starts reading off the sheet.
Well, you have to use like all the abbreviations, like all 25 of them that we all have memorized, but other people don't know what the fuck's going on.
The second annual PMBBQ.
I feel like I wouldn't read it off. I'd have like a little just clown jester that's like 14 years old read it off for me.
Well, I mean, by the time we're hitting like year 17, 18, maybe Odin's going to be like 14, 15 years old.
It's true. Did you just call my son a clown jester?
No, but you said you could have a little guy read it off. I'm like, well, you have a son. You can be like, you can have him announce your arrival. He can step out of the fucking, you know.
That's okay. I mean, if you don't want Odin to do it, I'll make Grayson the.
I'm just picturing a little 14-year-old Odin stepping out of your town and country van, your minivan, dressed head to toe in the flyest jester outfit I've ever seen. Like,
like toe bells and everything.
Yeah. But it looks like someone macrameed it. You know what I mean? Like it's just like.
I posit this question: if Derek's got a 17-year-old son and he's driving around in like a minivan, like a town and country, how many bags of topsoil from Home Depot do you think he's rocking in the trunk of that bad boy?
We talking very 45 pounds? Question. Yeah, that's incredibly yeah. We were actually talking about getting a minivan just earlier today, so this might become a reality. I don't know. It remains to be seen.
Yeah.
Either way, it was good to see you boys yesterday.
It was a good time.
It's good to be back. It's been 2 weeks. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah.
We had stuff going. You know, we had 2 weeks ago was the 4th of July weekend. We all kind of had stuff going on. I think Derek was actually gone most of the weekend, and it just wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
And then last weekend, my poor wife got demolished by her job. Luckily, they're paying her for it, but it still feels like she got kind of just bum rushed. Having to work late all weekend. It fucked us out of 2 nights we tried to record last week in a row. It's been a rough, time, but the fire burns. We've all been very anxious to get back. And there were a couple jokes that I almost had crying about earlier. So that's good enough for me. I'm just going to throw down into the welcome to the Cynical Nerd, episode 36.
No, hang on. We missed 2 weeks, so I feel like you need to do 9. So you have to do 5.
How's the math flub out on that one?
3 for each. Well, 2 for each week we missed, and then 3 for. It's all right. Let's move on.
I was like, yeah, go ahead. No, put it together.
No. But if you did your normal welcome.
Right.
That would be 3 per week, which means you would owe us 9, and I would like them all in sequential order, in the order where they belong, Chris. Holding hands, skipping merrily.
Oh, okay.
I would take them even at random.
Throughout the episode, the random intervals. Yeah.
So you have 5 to go.
Okay, I was gonna say, does 4 count?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's good. And the one benefit to being as late as we are and getting back in the game is that I got finally caught up on all the video podcast episodes. They are all done and up on YouTube. We are caught up to modern day again. Let's hope we don't have another interrupted video stream, because it's always what fucks me up. But we have a lot to talk about today. Obviously, being gone, Loki has wrapped, so we have the Loki series to talk about. I don't think it's a secret, and I'm going to bust a little mini nut right now, and just say I'm pretty sure we all liked it. I'm not 100% sure how much Derek liked it, but I'm pretty sure we all thought it was at least pretty good. I am, not surprisingly, on the really, really fucking liked it. But we have a little bit of week in review, not a ton. Then we have 4 or 5 trailers to talk about. One of them doesn't really count. It's kind of a knockoff of the other thing. There's a Witcher Season 2 trailer, and there's an anime prequel movie coming to Netflix that I didn't know was happening, and I'm cool. I'm cool. I don't know.
You're cool.
I meant to say I'm excited, cool. Equally excited about that. And then we have, my God, if you'll indulge us, from episode 35, we talked about Halloween Kills trailer, and that spurred Derek and I to go back and watch the 2018 one. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Fear Street trilogy. The first episode of Resident Evil Infinite Dark, I almost forgot that we have to talk about that.
I'm just gonna blow my whole load on that one, like that entire series. It literally is just 4 episodes. It's a movie.
Did you watch the whole thing?
Yeah, it's a movie that they split into 25-minute episodes. It's so bad.
Well, you blow your whole. I can only blow partial load because I couldn't.
Yeah.
Well, if you think coming while watching yourself as Chris Hemsworth is hard, coming while watching Resident Evil Infinite Darkness is 10 times harder.
Though.
I couldn't even get like a little poot out, man. There was nothing in there. It's fucking terrible.
Not even one little poot.
Not two little tiddlywinks have come.
Then we have Gaia, which we talked about. Rick and Morty. I'm not sure if we're all caught up on the latest episode, but we'll talk about where it's at right now because I did have some thoughts on the current one. And then, of course, we're going to save the Loki finale for last. But we're going to dive right into it. Before I do, Derek, how are you, my friend?
I'm great. Thank you for asking. Like I said, I got a case of the Rhea just from all the food and the schmeg McFucking this morning. But I mean, that's like every time you ask me how I'm doing. Shit has something to do with it, right? Just Bernie poops, just stingray, just coming out, constant, hot mud falling out of me, pouring out. No, it just never ends. But I'm good. Thank you for asking. I'm excited to talk about things.
If there has there ever been a Resident Evil Annihilation a thing?
Yeah, that was
almost certainly.
that was. I feel like it was. Yeah, I feel like that was their sequel.
Is that one of the Mia Jovovich? That means the acronym for that is RIA. So that's what Derek has come down with right now.
Real bad case of the Resident Evil Annihilation, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah. You probably don't unless you listen to this podcast.
Yeah, if you're listening right now, you definitely know what we're talking about.
Yeah, but right now though.
Yeah.
Scott, how are you doing today? How you feeling?
I'm still drunk from last night. I'm not gonna lie.
Sick.
It was
living the dream.
Yeah. I woke up and immediately started finishing my 2 White Claws I have open in front of me. You inspired me last week, Chris. I've been playing through Silent Hill 2, and it's just a joy.
Yeah.
I can't do that as well as you do. Can you do it for me? Can I get one?
It's I'm giggling now. I'm gonna fuck it up. I'm gonna chuckle house.
I'll take a giggly one.
Silent Hill 2, just a joy.
Yeah. Oh God.
So good.
Oh yeah. It really is though. But one thing that's got me all fucked up is how we talked about those back nasty nurses on the previous episode. Once you go to the hospital in Silent Hill 2, the entire town is just overrun with nurses.
BNNs.
Like, you don't see anything but nurses anywhere you go, and it's kind of fucked up, man. I don't. It's got me a little fucked up. Like I'm in a boathouse and there's nurses here. I'm in a public park and there's nurses. Like they're probably just walking home from their third shift, right? And I'm just beating them to death with a crowbar. I don't feel okay about it.
Is this why the rest of America is suffering like a nurse shortage nationwide because they all died in Silent Hill 2 from Scott's crowbar?
No, I think it's because they're underpaid, underappreciated, and we just got through an absolutely detrimental pandemic.
Yeah, they didn't even give them time for bathroom breaks, apparently, because they were just leaving them right in the undies.
Yeah. Yeah, nurses are treated almost as bad as Amazon workers in this country, we're being honest.
And both of them have to shit themselves, so... Both of them don't get bathroom breaks.
Yeah, sorry, no jokes here, guys. This is just social commentary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, we just got real. Okay, so we're going to jump into Week in Review.
I'm doing good, though. I'm doing all right.
I totally didn't realize you had an answer.
No.
Also, I have to applaud you. I've never done the wake up and finish a drink before. I can't even fathom.
It's the only way to go when you have not jack shit to do. Like today, the hardest thing I'm doing today is ordering a pizza on this podcast.
Oh, that's a great day. Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
I have to go have a weird, sad dinner. Sorry, personal note on the podcast. My brother-in-law and sister are moving to Texas with pretty short notice. I mean, we knew they were looking at houses, but then they found one and they were like, "We're going next week."
I thought your brother-in-law had passed on, Chris.
Yeah, we literally talked about this in the last episode. We can never talk about him as if he's alive ever again.
He's canonically, I'm sorry, but we agreed that he's canonically no longer with us.
Like personally, I'm interested in this story, but for the podcast, you have to stop. You can't talk about it.
Yeah, so your sister-in-law is moving to Texas.
Yeah, with my 4 nephews.
Okay.
That's what I have to do today after we get done. But we have some quick weekend review. Honestly, there's only one thing I'm excited to talk about.
Yeah, I think that's all we need to talk about, to be honest, right?
That's the SD. That's the SD.
That big old SD.
That's
That big
SDs.
old sucking dick. Wait, no. Is that what you got? Hang on.
I thought you were talking about scooter dick. I was like, yeah, let's talk about it.
Oh, and
I'm a
hilarious.
single man. I
About
gotta find a mate for life now.
I'll show you one hold of it.
Holding your adorable son yesterday, by the way, and seeing everyone's kids around being like, for the most part, everyone's children were absolutely wonderful. And I'm just like, I might end up being Leave It In gang. Oh, I just gotta find the one. Yeah, I gotta find the right now, right?
Yeah. Once you get the kid, you can ditch the chick. Like, you don't, right? You got what you needed. You're good.
I could stints in it, yeah. I just gotta make sure I'm not Charlie Sheen in it, right? Because that guy had HIV. Yeah, you know.
Yeah. He's got the HIV.
Yeah.
Do you think he had the the precursor phase and full blown AIDS like Derek, much like Derek did before from the past episode?
Right. We have that in common.
I feel like he 100% has full blownsies, but I feel like Derek bounced back so quickly. Derek bounces back so quickly that I think it was just a scare. Like, it was like, oh,
right.
No? Okay, no, okay.
It was HIV light.
Yeah.
HIV light sounds like a variation of Crystal Light. Like,
can you imagine, if you had HIV for years and you go see your fucking immunologist, he's like, I'm sorry to say this, but you've got the full blownsies. It's progressed into the full blownsies.
I don't think we can.
Can you imagine if diarrhea was a side effect of like any kind of serious terminal illness? Like, how many times you go to the doctor? You know what I mean? Like, if the fallout of eating Taco Bell is you have to question your own mortality every single time.
Depends on what new special item they have out right now.
Yeah, because the base menu is embarrassing.
I don't know. I mean, those supreme steak chalupas are pretty good, guys.
And they brought back a lot of the potato products we were all annoyed that they got rid of. So.
I don't fuck with potatoes there. I'm sorry.
Spicy potato soft tacos are delicious.
I appreciate that.
I've never once, like, when they got rid of potatoes, I'm like, well, good. They're supposed to be a shitty Mexican restaurant, not like not a shitty diner that does everything poorly. Can we all agree that all diners do everything poorly, though? Diners suck. I'd rather go to a Denny's than any diner ever.
No, I don't agree with that. Most diners, the
God.
shittiest looking diner, has the best scrambled eggs. The best scrambled eggs. The
all right,
shittier
maybe
the diner, the better
that.
the scrambos.
I'll give you that, but I've never once had a $12 or $14 or $15 burger at a goddamn diner.
Oh,
that
no,
was
never.
Worth,
yeah.
Or a stack of pancakes for like $16.99. You're like, what the fuck is going on?
Are you guys struggling? Like,
yeah.
It's supposed to be cheap.
I'd like to imagine that when Rambo goes to eat at a diner and orders scrambled eggs, he calls them scrambos.
Yeah, give me the scrambos. And they're like, what? Can you clarify?
That's headcanon. Yeah. Scrambos, and could you put some cheddar cheese on them for me? All right, so the first article I'm mentioning, and we can give thoughts if you want. We don't have to.
Right.
So we know that there is a Death Stranding director's cut coming out, which Derek is very excited about.
Yeah.
I thought the whole point of Kojima having his own company was that he could do whatever he wanted and therefore would not need a director's cut. But in true Kojima fashion, there's a director's cut of that game coming out. I don't know. I might go back to it. Maybe. I don't know. It was a game.
It
had features.
It certainly was.
It was just so strange. I don't know. Ultimate Fetch Quest. I had a hard time getting into it. However, this news was about Ghost of Tsushima also having a director's cut. And what's interesting is they announced it for the PS5. So it's basically like a remastered, right? Like they would go Last of Us, and then we're going to re-release it on PS4 when that came out like a couple months in, and they upped the graphics and stuff. But not only are they doing that, they're adding an entire new island to explore in the game, and there's some cut content in there as well, like cut quests and stuff like that. The entirety of my thoughts, this is why this article is so quick, about that game are, I had fun when I played it. It didn't keep my attention long enough to finish it. Like, the combat was fun. The way that the combat was built around needing different stances to defeat different enemy types made it feel fun and fluid. The combat felt heavy. It if that's the right word, it felt tactful. Like it felt really good when you stab somebody. It felt like you really like ran your fucking samurai sword through them. But it was fun. But it was basically Assassin's Creed as a ninja. I don't know. It was fun, but I just it didn't. There's only so many towers I can climb, and guys that can creep around in the reeds and stab in the back before it just becomes kind of rote and old. So I don't know. It was a beautiful fucking game.
That game definitely suffers from Far Cry syndrome, right? Where there's just so much
too much to do, and you just get overwhelmed. Yeah,
and like hearing that they're adding more content, like I'm 10 times less likely to play this now because I know I'm never gonna fucking finish it. I'm never gonna see the end of the story because I'm gonna get sidetracked every time I pick it up until I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, I actually like in the base game. There's first of all, before we get too far away from it, something that's cool because you had mentioned it. This is my one factoid about this game, and there's like a couple other games that do it. That God of War 4 is the only one I can think of. But anyway, the reason that when you get a kill in that game, it feels so like you just stabbed someone or you cut them through the shoulder or whatever. There's an intentional frame rate drop whenever you get a killing blow, so it has this sort of pop feature to it.
Cool.
Yeah. It's I would never think that like intentionally dropping frame rates would work, but apparently it does. God of War 4 is another one that did that. But anyway, I did. There's 3 islands or 3 territories in the first one. I did like 80% of the first one, and I was like, I want to do everything before I go to the second one. I eventually was like, this is overwhelming. I'm just going to go to the second one, and then I got there, and it's even more densely like. And that's when I was like, no, like this is a good game. Like I'm not shitting on the game. It's very well made. It's fucking beautiful. But I just don't have time. Like I had put 25 hours into it at this point. I'm like, and there's another area after this one? No.
That's larger?
Yeah.
I after the first island and I got about 80% and I also did the same thing. I said, fuck it, it's time to go to the next one. I expected a smaller second island that was going to be more manageable because the first one felt crazy big already. And then it was even fucking bigger. And I'm like, nah, bro, we're not Assassin's Creeding this. I don't want more and more and more and more. Yeah. The world was very interesting. I really did love it. I liked the story it was telling so far in, where he's kind of bastardizing the samurai way and his ancestors are not cool with it, but like he has to save his home country. I don't know. I might revisit it at some point if I have the hankering for an open world game, because that's one of the ones near the top of my list. It just felt really well done, but I don't know. I'm going to move on.
If I may, Chris, we do have a few. We do have a few little things that have popped up over the last 2 weeks. It's been a while since we've done a podcast. I know this is completely breaking format here, but if you don't mind, I like to list a few little things here and just get your overall your quick first gut shot reaction to them, if I may.
Sure. You are welcome to do that, and I will listen to.
But now you have a weird number left, don't you?
Yeah,
you gotta.
have 2
That's
left.
okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna sneak them in. But go ahead.
So there's been a leak of toys, like merchandise for Spider-Man No Way Home, and we got a look at a new suit that looks like it has a mix of Doctor Strange mystical nonsense with kind of a Spider-Man noir look. Yeah,
it's
thoughts.
Weird. I imagine that's going to be the suit he has to wear. Like, it's like the worst kept secret in Hollywood right now that like there's going to be Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. There's going to be Jamie Foxx Electro, Alfred Molina's Doc Ock, and it's going to be a multiverse Spider-Man film. And obviously, we know that now with basic certainty because of Loki's series finale. But we already knew it. Alfred Molina has talked on record to somebody, and he wasn't supposed to, about being Doc Ock again, and how he was like, but it's fine, even though I'm older, because they CGI the claws and they do all the work. And then he was like, oops, I wasn't supposed to say that. Well, you fucked up. So I think that suit is going to be the one he has to wear to travel through the multiverse for some reason. Because it had like, if you look real close, there's like literally runes in between the webbing separation on it. It's going to be something where like that's the suit he has to wear to travel around to whatever fucking thing they're doing. I don't know.
Derek?
It looks bad. I don't like the suit.
Do you have any thoughts besides Poo Poo Lala?
No. Poo Poo Lala kind of sums it up. I mean, it's, it took me a minute to find it because I kind of forgot what it looked like. I just remembered that I thought that it looked like it sucked. And now I'm looking at it again, and it sucks. And that's kind of the extent of what I have to say. I feel like Chris nailed it. Sucks.
I feel like I've asked you this before. We've all said that we think No Way Home could be a big shit show, but you really love Baby Boy Toby, and he's gonna. How do you feel about that? How do you reconcile those things?
I'm gonna save.
There's two wolves in Derek at any moment.
And both of them are coming on Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, take it, Toby. Take it, Tobes.
Oh, Seabiscuit.
There's probably fan fiction of that in Nick's furry Discord somewhere.
Gross.
I have some shit to tie in with my Loki when we talk about that, so I'm gonna save it for that.
Save it.
And I just want to do a quick little double header of stuff in the MCU that looks terrible.
Head me, Daddy.
We all saw that Ryan Reynolds, Taika Waititi, Korg, and Deadpool.
Yeah,
I saw 20 seconds of it before I turned it off. Sure.
Yeah, it was not good.
No. I'm afraid for the future of the MCU, and I feel bad for Ryan Reynolds, but also like free guy, right? Like we all agree it looks like dumb fun. It looks like Grand Theft Auto as a movie, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. But why the fuck would they tie their Disney property and Deadpool? Why would this be how they're gonna fucking give us a taste of him? Right? Like why don't know. This seems like the worst most misused promo in the history of the MCU.
Wait, that was not real though, right? That was like a fan made thing that got.
No, that was official.
Was it really? Why did it look so bad then?
I'm pretty sure it was.
I mean, it was 100% really their voices, right?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Okay. I guess maybe I should give it the 2 minutes it deserves.
Here's the thing. Eternal Optimistic Host here. This video is bad. I don't like it. It's stupid. However, my hope is not completely lost for Deadpool's place in the MCU. I'm sure it will be dashed eventually into the fucking ground. But for now, we have earlier on when they decided they were moving forward with Deadpool in the MCU, Kevin Feige did say they were going to leave that property R-rated. Now, obviously, the best part about putting a character like Deadpool in the MCU is all the characters we know already established that he would get to interact with. Yeah. None of those are rated R. So how does that work? Does Disney allow them in his movie to make those jokes? Are they going to put him in the other movies and bleep it? Because that's where you would ruin it for me, is if you censor him because you want to put him with all the other ones, but you want to keep it PG-13. Yeah. So it's very fragile, tenuous ground they would have to walk to do it properly. They're probably going to fuck it up. But seeing him with Korg, I loved Korg from Thor Ragnarok. So I was like, oh shit, that's funny. And then I watched the video and I was like, oh, this is terrible. I don't like any part of this. So, I feel like it would be shit.
I feel like it would be compartmentalized. Like if he shows up in an Avengers movie or whatever, he would be a little more tame. But then it would kind of be funny to do a gag where like Thor shows up in a Deadpool movie and like gets hit and screams out fuck or something. And Deadpool's like, oh, he can say that here. Something like that would, I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, we'll see how they do it.
Yeah.
Was that the 2 surprises you wanted to come out with?
I just wanted to make sure we haven't talked about anything MCU related in weeks.
Yeah,
we got a lot today.
And listeners, we don't talk to each other, the 3 of us, unless we're recording. We don't talk ever.
Yeah. Yesterday the party was really awkward.
Yeah.
I had a lot of things I wanted to say. I missed these guys, but just had to ignore them.
Mm-hmm. Well, also, it was hard. It would have been impossible for us to talk to each other with Nick telling so many stories. It was hard to find an opportunity to get in there.
Dude, Nick held my son for like an hour, and he was chilling, dude. And I'm like, "Are you good?" He's like, "I'm all right. I got him." I was like, "Okay." Mm-hmm. He was just cradling that motherfucker. Boom, one arm.
He's got big daddy energy.
He does, dude. He was like eating tacos over him, not spilling a drop on him. I was like, damn, dude, I got some shit to learn from Nick. Gotta start listening to these stories.
Yeah.
That's the secret. You have to find the willpower to sit through the stories, and then you'll be granted the BDE.
Well, the thing is, if you listen to one of Nick's stories without zoning out from start to finish, you then get a fraction of his wisdom, his fatherly wisdom, and then you get to pass the stories on to other people. Right? It's kind of like when you make a tape in the ring, But but when you tell a story and you met, like if Nick told you a story and you paid attention the whole time, and then you told me the story and I was like enthralled and couldn't look away and I paid attention to the whole story, your power would then double or triple. Right? Like,
Right.
It's like a compounding experience system.
I like it. I like it. Okay, I had 3 here we can review. I'm skipping the second one if you guys see the title because I'm going to talk about that very, very briefly when we talk about Black Widow.
Sure.
Because it ties right in.
Yeah.
Steam Deck is up, boys. This announcement came out last week, and it kind of caught us by surprise.
Welcome. Stole them, both of them.
Oh no, you thief in the night! We kind of caught us by surprise, right? Like none of us knew this was coming out, and then bam, we have a Steam Deck, which at first glance looks very similar to a Switch or like a handheld console. Come to find out,
Yeah.
it's kind of got a lot going for it, and I'm kind of really on board. So it's the Steam Deck, the base model. There's 3 different models. Hardware performance is completely the same across all 3. The difference is storage size. So the base model is $400 $400. But here's the cool thing. The Steam Deck runs SteamOS and can play anything in your Steam library. Anything that's there. They were showing it play Control, which is a very gorgeous game on high settings. Before I got my 3080, my computer could not play it on Ultra on PC. And they showed it playing a couple other things, but it's just a computer. And I watched the breakdown video that Derek showed. It runs SteamOS, but it's just a Linux base, so you can actually plug the fucking thing into a USB-C cable and to a monitor and keyboard, and it's a computer. Like, you can open a browser, you can do whatever you want. It's really powerful.
Yeah.
And I'm fucking am super about it. I was kind of on the fence early on because Steam has a really flip-floppy history on hardware in general. Like the Steam Link and the Steam controllers with the giant circle touchpads, it kind of didn't really work that well. But I'm hogging up all the limelight. Derek, how did you feel about the Steam Deck?
Initially, I thought, well, that's cool for some people, but it's not for me. Like, it's just your mind goes right to the Switch, and I go, well, I already have a Switch. I'm not really into handheld
and then you think, fuck Nintendo.
And then but really, that's a part of it, though. Is like, all right, but I want to fucking hurt them in any way that I possibly can. But honestly, it's a portable computer. Once I had watched that breakdown video about its capabilities, which it seems like, it's like a mid-range PC. Like, it's nothing impressive. Like, the graphics aren't going to be like wow or anything.
But for the price point, right? Like,
for the price point, exactly. But you can hook it up to a monitor with a keyboard and mouse if you want. Like, so if you or a TV, they have like a deck, kind of like how the Switch has. So if you just bring it with you when you're on some boring family vacation, when everybody's asleep, you can plug it into the TV with your keyboard and mouse. You're essentially playing, PC games. They're actually talking about doing suspended cloud saves where you can actually suspend your game on your PC, like your powerful home PC, and then just like leave your house and go wherever you're going and like resume from where you left off on your Steam Deck. They're still working on. Hasn't been promised, but cloud saves are still, that's been confirmed. So your save will still be there between when you have to save and quit. Yeah.
You can't just suspend. No, I thought, and I'm glad you brought that up and I didn't mention every feature in my first vomit of the mouth or diarrhea of the mouth, because that's the feature that makes
diarrhea, butt voms, vomit of the butt.
Butt vommies.
Yeah. Butt vommies. Yeah, I like butt voms. That's the feature that I went, oh shit, like that's, to me, it's kind of a hyperbolic statement, but it's kind of like the Switch killer for me, because the Switch has the dock and I can put it down and play a game with the controller. But this is the equivalent of that for me. So I'm on my computer, right? This is where I play 99% of the video games that I play. And you're telling me that anything I play through Steam, I can save and quit. If I have it installed on the Steam Deck and I leave to go on vacation, I log back in and I pick up right where my fucking save left off and I get to keep going. And that's incredible. That's the kind of thing that sells that to me, is that kind of like, we're trying to make your gaming experience more rich with this device. And
even for like, all right, I prefer keyboard and mouse for stuff. So like, that was another thing that initially was like, well, there's the joysticks. And apparently now I never trust the word of one person. And so I just saw that review. But he did say that the trackpad technology they have beneath the thumbsticks takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you do, it kind of feels like you're playing with the mouse. So I don't know. I'm gonna wait till this comes out and see what people are saying about it. This is not something I'm gonna pre-order or get day one or something.
Right.
And the storage issues are to me my biggest concern. It's like the one that's $400. does not have a lot of space, and games are big now. So the one that makes the most sense, the biggest one is like half a terabyte, which still really isn't that much, and that's like $700. So it's like, all right,
$650.
Do what? Oh, is it $650? But it's like, do I want to drop $650? So that's what I mean. I have to see what people say when it comes out, but preliminarily, it looks fucking awesome. It looks really cool. It seems interesting.
Here's the thing: if you were gonna buy like a travel, like a gaming laptop to travel as an accessory, and you had to choose between the gaming laptop and a $650 Steam Deck, I'm going with the Steam Deck. There's no question.
Yeah.
Scott, how'd you feel about it? How you liking it, or how you disliking it?
I mean, I'm excited. Like, I'm gonna just preface this by saying I'm gonna use this opportunity just to talk relentless shit on Nintendo. I don't know if I've said this in so many words on the podcast before, but I do freelance work, which means during any shift, I could have 20 minutes, 30 minutes here or there where I'm sitting around, just fucking around, waiting for my next bonus streak or my next job to pop up. And
Scott's a male prostitute, if you're wondering.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
Sometimes
bonus streak is
sometimes it's lonely at ye old glory hole, boys. Sometimes you only get one knock per night, you know.
Sometimes the well runneth dry.
But I find, like, I have my Switch and I find myself being like, should I bring it? No. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather like listen to a podcast or stare off into space for 20 minutes than play 90% of what I have on Switch already. And there's not enough shit on Switch that I can justify spending that $60 price point on every, you know what I mean? So for something like this where I could literally hop into anything, I have so many, Metroidvania and roguelike games that I have on my Steam library that I'm never going to sit down and play live for stream. But I can always hop on them in the car for 20 minutes, 30 minutes here or there.
Right.
And I think this is an incredible push, not only for PC gaming overall, but especially for small indie developers. You know, because a lot of people have those games, like when people sit down on their fucking $3,000, $4,000 rigs, they might not be playing Inmost or Carrion, right? But those games are fucking phenomenal, and they're perfect for a mobile handheld experience. And I think this will be the first time any of those games have had the opportunity to be on a mobile platform.
Dude, that's actually a fucking excellent point. I hadn't even considered that. I do have these indie games in my Steam library that I'm like, all right, I spent all this money on my PC. Do I really want to play something that I could have played on a PC from 10 years ago? And it's kind of like, that might get me to actually put more time into it. That's actually a really good point. Yeah,
because there's so many incredible, like, I don't know what you call them. Like, we call them indie or retro games, retro style, but it's that old 32-bit style.
Yeah.
And there's so many games that are utilizing that in beautiful ways now where it still looks like incredible and vibrant. Like, it makes Donkey Kong Country look like someone shit on a fucking spin art machine, right? Like, some of these games are so gorgeous. But butt bombs. Butt bombs. But it's also just like, it's all right, well, I'm on my PC. All my friends saw me log into Steam. I'm going to play one of the same 5 games I always play with everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or I'm going to play some AAA title that I've been wanting to get through.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Something like Enter the Gungeon, which I liked a lot, and I haven't played a lot of because every time I get on, I'm like, do I want to? This feels like one of those I play for 20 minutes to hit save and turn it off. It feels like a handheld thing.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with that. I also would like to bring this opportunity to shit on Nintendo further to say that I wasn't going to spend a lot of time on this week, but I went back and played Breath of the Wild, and not only did I go back and play it, I beat it. I finished it. And I had return thoughts to say, and I can sum it all up. I won't waste a bunch of time by saying that ultimately it turns out to be a pretty good Zelda game. Unfortunately, I think, and this might just be a personal opinion, that the first couple hours of gameplay of that game are marred by issues, and they're weird issues that I haven't seen in other Zelda games, and they literally, it's like you have to push through them. Like, I actually was like visibly physically frustrated when I was playing on stream because there's a couple things early on they just don't tell you how to do, but like, I don't know. I went through a whole roster of weapons trying to kill a guardian, like the first one you find that they put right in your path where you have to go. And I think, oh, I have to kill this thing. They're teaching me how to kill this thing. They don't tell you the entire fight that you can deflect the fucking laser from him if you're good enough with the deflect, and it fucking kills. I wasted every weapon in my fucking inventory, and I was aggravated. I was so pissed off. I was so annoyed. I beat it. It took every weapon I fucking had and some bombs on top of it, I think. Stuff like that. It makes for a poor intro to the game. But once I got through it, and no, I did not 100% it because there's no fucking way I'm looking for seeds. Yeah. And I did not get all the shrines, but I got the Master Sword. I did all the Divine Beasts. I did a pretty decent number. If I saw a shrine, I would just go over and do it. I didn't like go out searching for every single one.
How did the motion control ones work on Shmemulation?
Oh, I found the sneaky deakiest way to do it, which is that there is an app on your phone that you can download that uses your phone's accelerometer as the gamepad. So there's an app I download on here, and it runs a server on your computer. And
look at this
when
hacker.
you open up, I opened up Cemu, and when you open up Cemu, you can tell it what to use for motion controls. So literally in the room, I was just doing this with fucking.
And it really incredible.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It worked really well.
Holy shit.
And it didn't take that much setup either. It was not that hard.
You know how I always did those puzzles with the ball and the maze that you had to like do this? I literally just got the ball to one end, and then I would just go, and it would just fucking throw it out into the thing. And it works. It 100% works.
So the first shrine that I encountered motion controls, I looked it up, and there was kind of a cheap way to get around it. You could like jump on the fence a certain way and run into you weren't supposed to be able to do it that way, and I cheated it. But the second one, not passable without motion controls. That's why I had to figure out the solution. But the whole point of this was to say that ultimately I did enjoy the game. I thought it was worth playing. And if you like Zelda games, you should really tough out the first couple hours and give it a legit shot.
What do you think of that last boss fight? It
was pretty good, but I have to tell you, I think you hyped it up a little too much for me.
Really?
Because while it was fun, it was just a collection of abilities from other fights throughout the game, besides the very last whole hog section where you ride around the horse, which was very fun. The rest of the fight, I was just like, okay, well, this is a Guardian fight mixed with...
crazy about the whole hog, but I liked the Calamity Ganon fight. I don't know.
It was okay.
I didn't know that you could deflect laser bolts, by the way, until that fight.
Oh, shit.
So I played the whole game without
That's okay,
deflecting.
because every other time there were Guardians around, I just avoided them.
Yeah.
I never fought another one until Calamity. The whole point of that entire conversation was to say, I would buy the Steam Deck, install Cemu on Linux, and emulate Breath of the Wild and play through the whole thing again just to say, fuck you, Nintendo.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm playing this
100%.
on another mobile console.
Yeah, me and Derek have we've talked about it in the group chat, I think, and we talked about it yesterday. I'm officially boycotting Nintendo. I'm not spending another fucking dollar on any of their shit ever again, I think. And that doesn't mean I won't buy from secondhand. I'll buy used from the fucking flea market. I'll make sure that the guy with one tooth can feed his 18 kids. If I see a copy of Donkey Kong Country 3, Dixie's, I don't know, fuck. But the point is,
Dixie's cock, I think it's called.
Dixie's fat dick. Dixie's fat dick.
Dixie's big fat cock.
Yeah, it's we had an article that was in here earlier in the week that I think I removed when we were doing some cleanup at one point. But it was the man who ran the emulation site, who I think he was charging people.
He was. That's why they got him as hard as they did.
But he owes them $50 a month for the rest of his life. Like he couldn't afford. Like there was a judge. It was like something like $4 or $5 million judgment against him. He's paying $50 a week for the rest of his life. And he couldn't make a payment recently, so they took him back to court over the $50 he owed them for that month. Yeah. So
that's what I mean. Like getting it, like it's one thing. It's not even really one thing. I think it's crazy to bring someone to court over games that are 30 years old. But to do that and then to win, and then like you've made your point. You showed that you're like this fucking entertainment mogul, and nobody can make money off your shit except you. And then if he doesn't pay, you try to sue him again for not paying. It's like, you are going to ruin this guy's fucking life. And
his life's already destroyed,
That's what I'm saying. If he has kids, their lives too. Like, why? Who wins? You don't get that money. There's no way he's going to be able to pay them the $2 million or whatever the fuck it was that they got out of him. There's no way his kids are going to be able to that $2 million. It's just scumbag company shit. And I'm with you. The shit that I have, look, I can't stop myself from playing Odyssey every now and then. It's one of the best.
You already paid for it, man.
I paid for it, exactly. Yeah, but I really even like Metroid Dread, I think I'm just gonna skip it. I think I just have to fucking put a bar on Nintendo until they stop doing scummy shit. And put your fucking 4-year-old games on sale. My God.
Yeah. But also, we do just fuck Nintendo, right? Fuck Nintendo. Just all around, how arrogant and cocky you have to be like, no, we can still do Wii graphics, right? Like we don't need to fucking. We've had the same exact processors basically for like 3 generations now, but no one cares. We're Nintendo.
Dude, and the new OLED system that has no fucking hardware improvement whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's just like a half-inch bigger screen.
Yeah,
Get the fuck out of here.
We didn't even cover that. The fucking, what is it, 0.08 inches bigger?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And it has
this is when 0.08 inches bigger ever impressed anybody.
Am I right, guys?
Am I right? Ladies, am I right, ladies?
But also, like, I'm not convinced that it's really any bigger. It looks almost exactly the fucking. It's like, it's got to be like when a guy like tells a girl his dick is like, oh, it's like 6 inches, but it's like 5 3/4, right? Or maybe it's 5.5. Maybe it's 5 1/4, right? If it's over 5, he's telling her it's 6 because she's not going to measure.
Right.
But I think that they got lucky with the, and I know we don't want to dedicate too much time to this, but I think they got lucky with Wii with having behind, like sort of dated hardware because it had motion control, which was a gimmick that lasted way longer than it should have. But now people are over it. They tried it with Kinect.
Yeah, Wii Tennis was the fucking my jam.
It was pretty sweet, and
all
of it.
But how fucking fast did you get bored of Wii bowling? You always play like one match and be like, all right, let's do something.
Let's do another thing.
You got that one friend's like, no, man, rematch. You're like, I'd rather kill myself. Hey,
you guys want to drop some Molly? You guys want to drop some Molly now?
Yeah, I'd rather walk directly into the street, or maybe I'll put my head in the fucking oven. I'd rather do that at this family party. Sue.
But it's really becoming like, even with PlayStation and Microsoft, Sony and Microsoft rather, like they're trying to kind of keep up with what PCs can do now. Like hardware is becoming the name of the game. And I don't think this family fun thing is going to work for Nintendo for much longer. Now, people have been saying that for fucking 15 years and they're still around. So I could very well be wrong. But I really think that now it's coming down to, well, how powerful is your system? I don't care how charming it is. I don't care about the demographic it's aimed at. If it can't play a game at, more than 30 FPS and at 4K or whatever, then I don't want it. But we'll see.
I think the Steam Deck, we might have a Nintendo killer. We might have a Switch killer on our hands here.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's my fondest hope, at least.
I can only hope.
It's just awesome that they released it. They announced it a week after they announced the fucking Switch OLED. They're like, all right, we got something too.
They announced it. They announced it the day that the OLED pre-orders were allowed to start, which is just
really?
Just an absolute fuck you.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, fuck Valve too, right? Like every time I can buy something on CD keys for a little cheaper, guys, I 100% will do that. Sure. But the only thing I'm mad at Valve for is they didn't make sequels to some of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
Whereas Nintendo has made relentless sequels that are the same fucking game, but won't give me the ones I loved when I was a kid, the ones I actually want to play. Won't make them readily available. So fuck you.
Right. And let's. I'm not saying that.
Can we just do an entire episode where we just shit on Nintendo?
yes, please.
I feel like that's this episode now.
Yeah.
But it's just like the episode image is just all of us with our pants around our ankles, looking back, smiling, and you see a giant Nintendo logo with a big ooh sad face, right?
Get ready for the butt bomb.
The butt bomb.
Yeah.
And not to fluff up Valve here, because like you just said, they're not innocent. They've done a lot of things that are not necessarily consumer friendly.
Yeah.
However,
not supporting the hardware.
Right.
Yeah.
They've basically transitioned from the game development studio that we wanted more things from to people who, like it or hate it, have tried and swung out a couple times at the plate, like making changes to the video game industry. Like they tried the Steam boxes, they tried these self-contained pre-built PCs. Drop this in your living room. It's basically a console. We're trying to make PC gaming more user-friendly. Like they keep trying to move PC gaming into the living room. And while I'm personally never gonna do that, I like the forward thinking, what can we do to change the way people play games? And this feels like the first one where I'm not skeptical about it. I'm like, that little console sounds like a great idea. I don't know that I'm going to buy it, but if I was ever going to buy a portable console to play games with, it's that thing. Yeah. No questions asked.
100%.
And I just think what I've been saying is we're going to start moving more and more towards, away from consoles and more towards PC gaming as an industry. I just think that this was the ballsiest move for them to be like, well, we'll meet you halfway. Like we'll come to you a little bit. It's kind of a console, but more of a just midline PC. And if you like it, then you can kind of go from there. I just think that was a cool move.
Well, the thing is, it's going to be literally identical to the way Steam works on PC right now. You're going to have your entire library available to download and to install and uninstall at your fingertips, which means. Again, it's going to be great for indie studios and for everybody, because people who maybe were more hesitant with PC gaming, like you said, they'll meet you halfway here. They're going to get this for convenience and fuck around with it. They're going to fall in love with something and be like, oh, well.
That's what yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like why, what was I so afraid of? This isn't as complex as I thought it was going to be, because getting into PC gaming at first is daunting. Thank God Steam exists, because back when I played on PC years ago, before I really got into games the way I am now, it was a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Like we had to physically install. It was a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
And there was always have like I played Unreal. It would crash like 8 times. Every time I tried to fucking play, it was a nightmare, absolute shit show. But everything's optimized so well on Steam. Everything's regulated. They make sure things are gonna fucking work before they sell them to you. So there's only been a handful of times where I've gotten something that needed maybe like a post-launch patch for like Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver on PC or some shit like that, or Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's overall going to be great for the indie industry as a whole, because there's more avenues for people to play them on. But I'm also taking money directly out of Nintendo's pocket, because the games like Blasphemous, where I bought it on the Switch specifically because it felt like the kind of game that I could play for a little bit, put down, pick it up, I would get it on the fucking Steam Deck.
Yeah.
There's no way
absolutely.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
So the question, listeners, you have to ask yourself: is it worth spending $400 to make sure you don't give Nintendo even $20 or $30 over the next 5-6 years? The answer is obviously yes, right?
The
company that thinks let's make his hat talk, fuck it, they'll love it, doesn't deserve.
I loved it. All right, don't shit. You can shit on Nintendo, and don't shit on Odyssey.
I'm gonna shit in that hat. I'm gonna do a big old butt vom right in that hat.
Dude, I'm about to lend you my Switch just so you can play the game. And
I have a Switch. But it just sits here.
Mine is me too. But mine is like downloaded onto mine. I don't know how I could.
Okay. Switch is sitting unite.
Yeah.
I wish I had mine next to me so I could do that too. But it's dead, and it's been dead for like 3 months. And
the thing is, like I would love to play Smash with you guys, but I know that we'd get it all set up and we'd all be bored within 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, it's just nothing they have.
I don't know. I like playing Smash. I got it. Smash is fun to me. I don't know.
I mean, dude, couch co-op. That night I came over and we hung out, had a fucking blast. But mostly because I couldn't believe that Wii Fit Trainer was a character, and I played her all night. It was so stupid.
That's hilarious. All right, we spent way more time on the Steam Deck than I thought we would. We are moving into the trailers. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trailers to talk about. I have no more welcomes left, so I can't use them as a segue. The first trailer is, I don't know that we'll have a whole lot to say about it. It's a trailer for something we've already talked about since the second trailer. The new He-Man show, the one that's coming out to Netflix, titled Masters of the Universe Revelations. I watched it again just to refresh my memory today, and all the things we said about it before just rolled through my head, and I was like, well, what else do I have to say about this? I'm going to watch it when it comes out. The animation looks really good, and I really like the voice cast. The trailer is just this amalgam of different like action shots from various episodes, and like not a whole lot of dialogue. There's a couple nods, I think, to the old school fans about like, do you remember the thing? Do you remember how to do it?
Remember when that thing happened?
Yeah. And there's a like 20-second thing where Mark Hamill gets to really munch on that Skeletor dialogue, and I can't wait because I love Mark Hamill's voice acting. Yeah. Other than that, looks fine. Coming out soon.
You said everything that I could possibly say about it, so
when I was rewatching it, I'm like, shit, there's not really a whole lot we've already talked about this.
I'm into it. Powerhouse Animation is doing it. They did Castlevania, which was excellent, so that's
who it is.
Looks cool.
Yeah, I mean, and it's also coming out super soon. This bad boy comes out July 23rd, so literally comes out next week.
Oh, we can talk about it next week.
I can't wait to have that playing in the background and only pay attention when I hear Mark Hamill's voice. That's exactly what I'm going to do.
I think that's perfectly all right.
Yeah. Hard to support Kevin Smith. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I'm at a real love Mark Hamill, hate Kevin Smith. What do you do? I'm at a crossroads.
Yeah.
There's no transitive properties. Like if you know that Mark Hamill loves Kevin Smith, that doesn't carry over to you.
No.
Nah, it just makes me lose a little bit of respect for Mark Hamill.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I like him. It's just like 5%. It's nothing crazy. Just a little less though.
Like I like his social media presence. I can respect for Luke.
I like how he just talks shit openly on Star Wars all the time.
Oh, no,
You're like, what do you think about this character? He's like, this is just a movie, you idiot. It's just a movie. I fucking love him.
Yeah.
He's pretty great. All right, cool. Moving on to the next trailer because I'm so antsy to get to our main topics. I'm so incredibly antsy. Again, in the same vein as that Masters of the Universe trailer, we've already talked about Dying Light 2, but they released a new gameplay trailer. This is from it focuses on a lot of the monsters, and I rewatched this today. I'm just incredibly excited for this game. Scott and I have talked about loving the first one for such a long time. This game just looks like such a great expansion on the first one, and this trailer looks really gorgeous and fun. And that hospital in this gameplay trailer, or wherever it is that he's trying to escape from, giving me palpable anxiety the whole fucking way.
Shit. One of the things that the first game suffers from is that the scripted events are mostly cutscenes, right? Like you're forced. It's
right.
There's not a lot of big action set piece moments. There's not a lot of dope action horror moments that aren't like randomly generated. There's nothing that's choreographed that's really on this scale like we see. We see him trying to sneak around a hospital, getting found, but sneaking by sleeping zombies, which we've all agreed is a cool mechanic.
I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, which is a cool mechanic that like I think especially here works really well, like because it works kind of like the witch in Left 4 Dead. If you get too close with your light on, they start startling up. You got to fuck off and back off. You get like audio cues. Imagine how fun that's going to be playing solo in the dark, drunk. You know what I mean? Like with your headset on. Not. Yeah, it's gonna be fucking incredible. But also like when you see the outside like landscape, this is clearly years after the Haran outbreak, and there's trees sprouting out of the roofs of 20-story buildings. Like it's very much like that old show on Discovery, Life After People or something like that, or After We're Gone. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I love that. Like that's one of the things I love the most about the aesthetic of The Last of Us is that it's clearly like decades after shit hits the fan and nature's reclaiming the city. And I know that's like such an overused metaphor, right? Because it's
such a gorgeous visual.
But I never get sick of it. I never get like I think it always lends itself very well to the gameplay, and especially with a game like this where you do free running. Like imagine what opportunities that's gonna give you to swing from tree branches, maybe swing from vines at some point for some kind of cool little what the fuck, you know what I mean? But also you see zip lines.
Yeah, for a nod to Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Oh no, I didn't mean like that. Not like this.
Not like this. Not like this. What a deep cut, boys. Huh? Somebody tag us in Twitter if you know what movie that's from. Don't Google it first, you piece of shit.
Yeah, that would defeat the entire purpose. I thought it looked really cool. Like the one thing in games that will like amplify even a mediocre game to me is when you're like, I guess it's like the platformer roots that I have that just like being able to jump around freely with this fluid motion is just fun. Like, and the whole like jumping from rooftop to rooftop and climbing up the pipes to blah, 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 it just looked really cool. I'm tired of zombies, but like with that being said, just moving around, like the movement looked fun enough for me to kind of look past that and give it a shot. I do still have the first one and I've never really played it. I played like the first hour. So I might give that a go and see how I feel about that before I really get amped for Dying Light 2. But it's kind of like you think of a game like Titanfall. Like the movement is so fluid in that game. It's just like you can just zip around. I just love that when games have that aspect to it. You know how you're playing some games and it can be a really good game, but you're just but your movement is so clunky. Like you just feel so like restricted. I don't know. Yeah. So that's really all I have to say about it. The trailer was interesting. The sneaking mechanic looked fun. Enemy AI seems like it could be interesting. I don't know. I mean, I'm into it.
They were smart enough in the first one.
Yeah, they were pretty good.
There's also like different varieties though. Like the volatiles, like the hunters were so smart, and it had like a little bit like a predator cat and mouse vibe to it at nighttime.
It felt unfair at nighttime sometimes.
And yeah, but all right. So this game is slated to launch on December 7th, guys. I'm gonna say sometime in October we start a PC playthrough, co-op playthrough of that game. And we marathon it, man. We're doing
That would actually be cool. I'm into that idea.
Because it gives us a solid 2 months to get through it, where we don't have to feel like we have to play it every week. But every once.
Did you say September?
Oh no, it drops in December.
So like October, we should probably start.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we start in October, like around Halloween time. We got all of November, baby.
I'm getting my gallbladder taken out on my birthday in September this year, so I'm gonna have 10 days to just do shit. Just do shit.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So you and Baby Yoda will be hanging out, man, just broing down.
That's right. Exactly. We're gonna be drinking beers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna
smoking cigarettes.
I've decided in my mind, I'm just gonna attach a Y to the beginning of his name, but you won't be able to tell very often. Baby Yoden.
Oh, we already call him that. That's his nickname.
Okay.
Yoden. Yeah.
Yoden.
Yoden.
Yeah.
Yoden. Yeah, dude.
We got, come on, Broden.
When I watched this trailer again earlier today, I wrote down the sleeping zombies because I remembered when we talked about the Zack Snyder Vegas zombie film, and I remember Scott bringing up the mechanic of the sleeping zombies and how that's always been kind of a cool concept that they go into like hibernation.
Yeah.
And when I watched it, I was like, oh, that fits so perfectly into this world.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't a part of the first one. And
At all. No.
And they just didn't do that. It wasn't behavior they did.
Yeah.
I not much else I can say about it. Really looking forward to it. December 7th can't come fast enough. Also, if we're gonna do the playthrough, which I'm also 100% down for, I've never played that game in co-op with more than 2 people, but you can have 4, and I'm interested to see how even having 3 people changes the dynamic, because it's really fun with 2. Like, I played co-op a bit with my buddy, and we had finally gotten like the bow and arrow, and we just went on a fucking tangent, just a tear, just like, seeing how many headshots we could get with the fucking bow, and just like fucking off for like a half hour. We didn't even do quests; we were just killing zombies because it was hilarious. So yeah, I'm excited. I don't have anything else to say about it.
It's super fun. What I would say, the more people you play with, you get kind of like a Resident Evil co-op kind of thing, right? When someone gets down, you can go to them and revive them.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like Left 4 Dead. Literally exactly the same. Like when someone gets down, you get a little heart meter. You can go use a health kill on them to get them up. Playing that game with 4 people, it only makes sense if you do it on like one of the harder difficulties. Because on the easy,
I was gonna say, I imagine a game like that would probably get really easy if you have 3 or 4 people.
Yeah.
Well, let's do it on hard.
I would suggest not Nightmare Mode, because Nightmare Mode is absolutely.
Yeah, I want to have fun. Yeah, I want to accomplish things and progress.
But the harder difficulty is really fun, and also you get more points. You get more experience.
I need them points.
Mm-hmm. One of the things I really want to try with you guys, we talked about before, invasion mode. If we're gonna plan this thing out, we're gonna do a real TCN run of this game. We could have people, our friends, our viewers of our individual streams, join the game as a zombie and invade us, and then we can fuck them up with flashlights and shotguns, crowbars, maybe a machete. Machete.
All right. Let's move on to the next trailer. This is the first Marvel trailer, the only Marvel trailer we have to talk about this week, and it's kind of funny, right? So we had an inkling of an idea of where the next phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe will go, and now with Loki out, we know exactly where it's going, which meant to say that we were right back in the day. However, I didn't really think about this. The What If series that we have known for a while is coming out, and seems to include things like zombie versions of our heroes, and things like what if Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther T'Challa was actually Star-Lord and stuff like that. Just these what if concepts that have been popularized in comic books for decades. And they're doing an animated show about it. What's interesting is when it's coming out. It comes out next month, August 11th, and it fits right after we've fucked up the timeline. And of course, we'll get into that later. But the only thing that really interests me about this is something that never happens with animated spin-offs from any universe ever, is that they have all the actual actors voicing the actual characters. Which is good. It lends an air of legitimacy. I don't have to listen to someone who's trying to sound like, T'Challa, be T'Challa, and then have to reconcile that in my head because my brain doesn't like that very much.
With him specifically, did he record his lines before he?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is like his MCU swan song.
Okay. I feel like you did mention that before, actually.
Yeah. This is just the latest trailer for it, and there's a lot of cool visuals. The animation style looks okay. It's computer generated, but the cell shaded sort of look is not the worst. I don't know. I'm gonna watch it. I hope it's entertaining. Clearly, Doctor Strange is involved with moving between these what if universes. He's shown kind of sliding through some kind of wormhole. But you know, again, it's stuff like what if Peggy Carter was Captain America, or I think she's just Captain Carter, which is just admittedly a cool sounding name because of alliteration. You know, like I said, T'Challa as Star-Lord. There's Spider-Man's in this trailer, but I didn't really see what he was doing. It opens up with Tony Stark being rescued by Killmonger and not becoming Iron Man. So just stuff like that. And you know, Derek, how'd you feel about this concept overall and this trailer specifically?
So it's the same. It's really, I don't have anything new to say from when we first covered it. And that is that when I hear about this concept, it actually makes me angry because it's them saying, let's take what we've done for the past 15 years and just go move everyone one seat to the right like it's musical chairs or something and just do it again, which is so fucking cheap and so fucking lazy to me. It's like, oh, what if Pee-Pee Man was Poo-Poo Man instead? It's like, all right, then he's Poo-Poo Man. Like, that's the end. Like, we figured it out right in the question. But when I watch the trailer, it's really fucking well animated and really well voice acted, and that is enough to make me go, I should at least try this out. The concept of it actually, I can't stress this enough, makes me fucking angry. It's so cheap. It's so fucking dumb and unoriginal and stupid. But it looks really well done, so I have to give it some attention. I have to.
I feel like there are interesting stories to tell, but like, what if T'Challa was like that? That to me isn't interesting because it feels like it's gonna be the world around him doesn't change. You know what I mean? Like he's just there instead of Star-Lord. And granted, instead of Peter Quill, he's gonna interact differently, but it's still gonna be like largely the same, right? Like largely similar. They literally showed him going to get the fucking first Infinity Stone. That scene where he like interacts with fucking the machine-headed guy who worked for fucking Ronan the Accuser. And I mean, I don't know, man. I'd be excited to see what happened to Tony Stark if Killmonger would have saved him. But also, what the fuck was Killmonger doing in the Middle East?
What are you doing out there?
Wasn't he supposed to be in fucking outer space or some shit? Or is he supposed to be in fucking like California? Or is he supposed to be in Wakanda? Why?
I don't know.
Why is Killmonger here?
Because alternate universe, multiverse? I don't know.
No, because they pulled a name out of a fucking hat. What if you got saved by?
But that's what I'm saying.
Killmonger.
It's like we're gonna do Ninja Turtles, except now Leonardo is Raphael. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but
now he just wears that color bandana, and the story is exactly the same. I don't know.
Yeah, it just to me it's gonna, and to me the Killmonger rescuing Tony Stark's the one that had me rolling my eyes the absolute fucking hardest, along with the just the copy paste, like like you said, there's musical chairs of characters, but it's like what process? How are they gonna? What was the motivation for Killmonger to be where he was then and there? How did he know Tony Stark was going to be there? Why does he save him? The what ifs of the what if series is what's going to be.
Oh damn it!
I know.
Damn you.
I know.
No.
All right, no. You don't get to shake your head at me, Chris. I've heard you say way worse in this episode already. But
yeah, it's kind of my thing though.
I'm sorry, I'm stealing your thunder. Wait, what if Yondu stole Mjolnir and he has the?
Oh, what if Scott said Chris's jokes? Let's make a TV show about
it. It's basically the remix for a song that's already been on the radio for too long, and you're like, now I got to hear this for another 6 weeks.
Everyone. It's like that's that fucking. All right, well, we get it. Yeah.
Right, Darude Sandstorm. We've all been there.
Yeah. It's all in me.
All right, boys. Moving along to another piece of animation. This one coming out of Netflix. This is going to be a tie-in to the. It feels like Netflix is just going a whole.
I thought you said this was going to be Italian. I was like,
yeah, it's a moda weed.
It's gonna be.
Hey, you monsters, get out of this castle.
So the thumbnail has to be Henry Cavill's Witcher with the Italian hands. Like, there's no question about it. Okay, so it looks like Netflix is just going whole hog on the Witcher universe. This is a tie-in. In the same universe as the show. That visual has me fucked up.
They're diluting the property. It's a good show, but you need.
I'm just typing in Henry Cavill Italian hands.
You need to be.
Henry Cavill Italian Hands kind of sounds like a great episode title too. It's so fucking weird. Like Henry Cavill semicolon Italian Hands.
Are we allowed to have the title and thumbnail related to the same thing? We've never done that before. It's always been completely unrelated.
We'll have to see where the episode takes us. Right, we're only halfway through this ride, boys.
All right. Well, that's a good space. Yeah. We'll see if we can. So anyway, this is a prequel to the show. It looks like it might follow like a young Vesemir.
Is that a racist impression? To be like, some pasta foot, fucking.
Probably, but that fucking Pixar movie we just did like really went ham on that. So I think we're okay.
Yeah.
Pixar can do it.
Yeah, Luca, you're fucked up. This is called The Witcher: Nightmare of the Wolf. It's actually coming out pretty soon. It comes out August 23rd. The animation looked pretty cool, and you make it a potions.
You make it a pizza.
The werewolf would come in, he spilled all the pasta all over the floor. Okay. I think this looked pretty cool. I just like the Witcher universe. I'm probably going to check it out. It premieres August 23rd. Scott, what do you think about it?
I think you got to stay loyal to the source of material, or else what you're doing is it's no good.
That's it.
That's all I got. That's all I have to say. I'm making a pizza.
Remember the title's just I'm making a pizza.
The Italian Americans Association is going to just fucking destroy our lives after this.
I can't wait.
What, you mean you mean they're just going to put horse heads in our beds?
I think they put a fish on your doorstep or something. Okay. What does that mean? What the fuck is that supposed to mean? I think it looks good. That's all I have to say. It looks good. That's it. It looked very good.
I just
Bellissima.
I googled Italian hands and this is what came up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Discord is so good.
That's how he holds his sword.
Oh my god, please make him holding up a sword with Italian hands. Please.
You get out of this town.
Yeah.
I'm the Butcher of Blaviken.
Yeah. Toss the coin to your Witcher.
That song was a banger.
Mm-hmm. It's really good.
It got old real fast, but it was a banger.
I tossed the coin.
Anyway, yeah, I don't have really anything to say about it other than it looked cool.
How do we go down this fucking rabbit hole? How did the Italian thing even start? I don't know.
You thought I said the word Italian, Italy. And then and then none of us let it go. That's how it happened.
Okay.
Well, I tried my damnedest to let it go, but I just kept hearing Scott like laughing, saying, "I'm making a pizza."
The joke really just folded in on itself. It just turned into a fractal, just like dividing and dividing eternally.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the meat proper here of the Witcher trailers. They finally gave us a season. Go ahead, Scott.
I'm making a meat lover's pizza.
They finally gave us
a
teaser.
Right?
True. They finally gave us a teaser proper for the season 2 of The Witcher, which has been a long time coming. The pandemic halted production on it. We know that much. But this comes out this year also, December 17th. So we have Dying Light 2 coming out December 7th. The Witcher Season 2 comes out December 17th. Lots of good stuff before the end of the year that we've discussed before. Next couple months and weeks. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of good content to consume, or at least I hope it's good. This trailer really lets us see that it feels like the main thrust of Season 2 is going to be Geralt's relationship with Ciri, which is always some of my favorite stuff from the game universe. So he takes her to Kaer Morhen, which is fucking sick. I want to see that really. I wanted to see it in Season 1. He didn't really get to see it. You get to see him training like he did in the games. I don't know. I'm just looking forward to it. Again, there's not a whole lot for me to say besides, yes, please. I liked the first season more than I expected. I thought it was going to be kind of bad, and it was actually kind of good. That's it. I don't really have... Derek, how do you feel about it?
Season 1 to me was great, but had weird flaws with jumping through time in a Tarantino-esque way without explaining or making it evident at all that it was jumping through time in a Tarantino-esque way. I hope that they do a just point A to point B story in this one. That's my one wish for it. But I'll say this. I think what made one so good, well, what made season 1 so good was Henry Cavill 100%. He loved that role, and he lifted that show up from like a 6 out of 10 like into an 8.5 out of 10. Like,
and in the process earned a fast pass at the Derek and Chris glory hole.
That's right. You're welcome. Come on in.
Yeah.
Come on down.
That Six Flag speed pass.
Yeah. Yeah, season pass. But the other thing that was good about it is just the action was done so fucking well. Like that, what gave him the title of Butcher of Blaviken in episode 1 was just that tracking shot. That wasn't, I know every time I mention a tracking shot now I have like PTSD. Chris is going to be like, well, actually there were some clever cuts. It wasn't a true tracking shot.
I am the well, actually basement dweller meme. That's me.
But the thing is, like,
just with tracking shots though, nothing else.
Those are impressive. Like when I think of The Witcher season 1, I think of that tracking shot. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Dude, when he's like casting the spells and like fucking cutting people's head off and shit. And you can see in this trailer that they're doing interesting shots like that again. Like there's a point where he's laying on like a sarcophagus or something and someone throws something to him and in like one shot he like grabs it and rolls off of the thing and the camera like rolls with him as he
that was a cool shot.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm pumped, man. I just hope my one wish for it is that, again, that they just do like here's where it starts in the timeline and it ends here in the timeline. I just hope they do
a jump around and they do a better job of letting us know. Because I know that was like that was supposed to be like a reveal, but it didn't come off. It
didn't feel like that exactly.
Yeah. It felt like I had to go back and rewatch everything with that in mind. And now before I do a rewatch, I'm going to literally read the synopsis so I can follow along as I'm watching it. You know what I mean?
It kind of felt like someone was just clearing the fog out as opposed to a revelation in the first. You're like, oh, fuck,
eventually
that makes
you just go
sense.
like, wait, has this been the whole time? Like, it's not like, this big reveal. It was just, it kind of just dawned on you eventually.
Yeah, I remember having the same criticism, and I remember after the season came out, and it like people were having more or less the same sentiment that we are having now, which is that we liked it, had some flaws. The time travel stuff was confusing for, it felt like no reason. And there was an interview with the showrunner who said, like, this is why we did it, but I get the criticism. And I think that I am hoping, at least, that we are either not going to get the time jump shit at all, or it's going to be very clear. It felt like she got the message.
Yeah.
But that's the end of the trailers. Does this mean it's pee-pee time?
It is pee-pee time. Oh my god, I'm just bursting. It's just bursting.
A fruit gusher full of piss.
That's disgusting. How about you? You get a pee? Or is your body absorbing it?
No, I mean, I'm literally, the only reason I'm not asleep right now is that I finished up the beers. I'm at that point now where it's a critical mass. If I stop drinking before the pod ends, I'm gonna get sleepy. But also the fact that I'm clearly still drunk from last night means you're gonna get gems like I make it a pizza. They're not all gonna be hit or miss, boys. 50-50.
Yeah, that's cool.
Roll the dice.
In the meantime, guys, thanks for listening. More and more, I find this segment to be a little weird because if you're listening, then you already know most of it. However, if you're listening to this first time, hi, hello. You can find us on Facebook.com/TheCynicalNerd. You can find us on Twitter @TheCynicalNerd. I know I'm fucking this up by saying it out loud. I was going to say I'm making it a point of not mentioning that we got the name back, but I did it anyway. We recently acquired the proper handle. It's just @TheCynicalNerd. It's glorious. It's fucking glorious. We just posted a choice original meme featuring Joe Rogan in a very poorly timed interview. I beg you to go check it out. If you like it, retweet it, like it. If you want to ask us a question, you can do that in multiple ways. You can do #AskTCN on Twitter. If you want to correct us for something we messed up, if you would like to tell Derek how much you love his soft features and supple beard, you can do #FuckTCN, FUCK, TCN. I don't know why I spelled that one and not AskTCN, but you get the idea. You can also email us at questions@thecynicalnerd.com. We really enjoy getting the emails and the questions, so don't be shy. If you're listening right now and you're going, someone else is going to do it, I don't need to send them a question. No, I want you to send us a question. You specifically.
Also, we're gonna start playing a new mystery game, guys. We're gonna start having more interaction on our Twitch. Sorry, not
called
Twitch,
Who's in My Mouth?
Our Twitter. Every week, we're gonna post a picture of one of our nasty, horrific dumps. You have to guess whose it is, and if you can guess correctly, which nightmare snake belongs to which co-host of the Cynical Nerd podcast, we'll be giving you guys Steam gift cards.
Oh shit! Okay, well, I like this game. I like this game a lot.
I just want Derek to listen back to that and be like, we didn't talk about that at all.
Why would we do that? All right, hey buddy, how you doing?
Hey, no, I'm doing. I'm good.
Nice surprise there for you.
Would you be more terrified of a snake that could fly, or a monkey that had snakes for hands?
Monkey that had snakes for hands, just because it's longer. It takes longer to say, so I feel like it's more complex by nature. And
yeah,
thus
like if it was coming at you, it would take you longer to describe what it was to everyone around you, which means you guys have less time to get away.
What is it? What do you see? And then you're dead.
Okay.
If it's a flying snake, you just go, flying snake. It's done.
Yeah,
it's out.
The snake's flying. You're like, oh, everyone scatters, but like, I think it's some kind of primate with. I think those are snakes for, and then by the time you even start saying the second half of it, the snake has bit into directly into your jugular.
Yeah, with all
Right,
10 of his snake fingers.
Yeah, just pumping venom right down your gullet.
Gross. I don't like it. All right, I have a
You don't like monkeys with snakes for hands, Chris?
You're not into this?
I don't like snakes.
I feel like that's a controversial statement.
Yeah. Against snakes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't like snakes, so I'll say all controversial things against them. I have.
How do you feel about Jennifer Lopez's Anaconda? The movie Scary as a kid? When John Voight has like that one eye, he's like all...
No, because the Anaconda looked fake even when the movie was new. Like, it never looked good. So it wasn't really that terrifying.
All right,
I posit something to the bullies. So we've got about an hour hard limit. I've got to be out for dinner. There are things I absolutely think we need to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I would preface the things that I think we should talk about this week. I would like to start with Black Widow because it's a really quick opener, and then talk about Loki because I want us to be able to devote as much time as we want to that show. Okay. And then I would say the Fear Street trilogy if you guys finish the third one, and then whatever else in the list we can get through because everything else is movable.
I didn't finish the Fear Street trilogy, but I tried to watch part 3 like 5 times. I'm just not doing it. You guys can just talk about it.
Okay. I'll talk about it.
I literally tried. I fell asleep through that movie 5 fucking times, guys. I don't know how.
I actually do have things to say about it. I toughed it out. I watched that bitch last night, and I'll save it for the conversation. Okay, so first up, came out last week. Black Widow. None of us paid for it because fuck you, Marvel or fuck you, Disney for $30 on top of your Disney Plus.
A year and a month. 13 months late.
Nah, no way, bro. Haim.
Just think in that time they could have just reshot the whole thing and made a good movie.
Yeah.
Honestly, time.
Yeah. And this movie's supposed to take place directly after Civil War, right?
Right.
Which is when it should have released, because back then it would have been passable as like a mundane phase 2
filler,
phase 3
100%.
filler. And the same, like this to me was Iron Man 3, right? Where it wasn't like it wasn't the worst piece of shit I've ever seen, but it was definitely a piece of shit. And I enjoyed some things about it, but I enjoyed those things about it in spite of how bad it was. Like the casting was phenomenal. I think everyone did the best they could with what they were given, but they weren't.
Yelena is a honey. I love Florence in this movie. I think she does a great job.
Go ahead, say it. Florence Pugh. Imagine being that gorgeous and your last name is Pugh.
Imagine being that gorgeous and you're banging the dude from Scrubs.
Yeah.
Wait, is that a real thing? What?
She's banging Zach Braff. Yeah. She's been together with Zach Braff for quite. They live together.
He has a weird face. It sort of sags in certain places.
Yeah.
But it's very
The question is, do you think she saw him in like Garden State when she was like 12 years old, like everyone else did? It's like, what a deep, intelligent, emotionally available man.
My dream is to one day be in love with that man, and then
I want to meet a man like that. Like, and then like
it's like, why is his nose still growing outwards? It's so big. So we're just not to bury the lead here. We are all on the same page. This movie was not good. Scott and I watched it together. Derek watched it separate from us. The movie starts, and in the opening sequence, Scott and I were like, okay, that wasn't that bad.
Right.
And then it just got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. The red vial cloud shit, I hated it. don't get me wrong.
But you could agree then it's inhibitor chip syndrome. It's like, let's take everything that makes these intelligent characters, it takes all the morality out of it. It takes all the questions about indoctrination and the military industrial complex out of the equation of a movie where that's literally all it's fucking about is a KGB secret spy program. And let's make them mindless slaves who don't want to do what they're doing but can't stop themselves. That is the shittiest fucking cop out in the world.
That was my main complaint with the first two acts. The third act, I got a lot more complaints, but the first two,
Jesus, the third act is just it's
horrible.
Absolutely fucking ridiculous.
I like to say
with the first two, like
Chris predicted while we were watching. Chris predicted.
I forgot about this.
The Taskmaster twist.
Oh, me too. I totally called it. Yeah. I did too. 100%.
And I was so mad about it because we're talking about it, and I started to just go. I was like, oh no. Oh no.
Yeah.
And I was like, what if, because, my premise was, it's Scarlett Johansson's presumably last appearance as Black Widow proper. I was like, there's no way that they're going to drop the bomb that she's a fucking child murderer on us in the final appearance. It's like, I don't care. There's no way they're not going to do it. Those people didn't die. And when it turned out that Dreykov was alive and they were talking about his daughter, and we didn't know, they hadn't shown her anywhere, I was like, oh no. And it ruins it. Look, Taskmaster is the textbook comic book villain. He's a generic dude who's got like eidetic memory, whatever the fuck you call it.
He's the Skullmaster of the MCU. He's
right.
He's Deadpool in villain form.
Right.
He's meant to be equipped.
Mimic someone's fighting style, whatever. He's not interesting. But I think what they tried to do was make him into a sympathetic villain or interesting villain, and it totally backfired. I think it was way worse. Like, just go whole hog with the stupid. Like, just use the generic villain background, because he's just there for a plot point, or she, I guess now, is just there for a fucking plot point.
It's a he. I'm sorry.
I just
Taskmaster is canonically a dude who's also a piece of shit. He's not some sympathetic. But also it's like. Sorry, go ahead, Derek. You were about to say something before we went on a tangent here.
No, it's okay. All I was going to say is that there was a lot of opportunities with the first two acts for something interesting to happen. I loved in the beginning because you saw the trailer and you saw everyone speaking in these thick Russian accents, and they were all talking in American accents in the beginning, even though they're in their house. And that's actually in real life what Russian sleeper cells did before they sent them over here. They were like, you will never speak in Russian. Like, you don't speak Russian anymore. You don't speak in that accent. This is how you talk now forever. So even when these families were in their home with nobody around, they weren't speaking in Russian to one another. They spoke about things in English.
Yeah. In
case somebody was listening and then they overhear a Russian accent or whatever. I mean, and I thought like exploring that would have been really neat. I think that Florence Pugh is fucking great, a fucking great actress in everything she's in. She's excellent. And I actually think that her performance for what she was given was great. But what she was given sucked. I hated that you have this clan of unfeeling assassins, yet we just happen to get the four that all secretly feel something. And she was like crying, like it was real to me. Like, that just didn't feel genuine to me, because she was like that from the beginning. Like, from the beginning, she clearly had this like, well, you've always been my real sister to me. To have it be this big reveal in the end that like she's been this soulless person, but deep down that's how she felt about Natasha, would have been like, holy shit, like that would have reached out and fucking touched me. But no, it was just the whole time she's just crying about, well, my fake daddy's doesn't think I'm his fake daughter. And it's like, you're an assassin. Like, I just didn't get it. And again, what you had mentioned about the red gas or whatever, like it would have been cool to explore like what actually happened, the indoctrination, the brainwashing, and to have to break these people out of that by showing them the way. But no, it's just, you just spray a gas on them and they're themselves again. Just stupid.
I gotta say, like I started touching on it, but I gotta get a little baby brand now. I gotta pass this gas here. There's so many opportunities again to talk about like indoctrination, to talk about the way that we indoctrinize our military. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Talk about the military industrial complex worldwide, but especially here in the U.S. And I understand why they wouldn't want to hone in on that specifically, but you have them talking about being forcefully given hysterectomies in the Red Room as like a joke,
They're
as a
joking
fucking
about it.
one-liner. But also, like, when David Harbour leaves them in the beginning, and then you see them in a fucking shipping container. It's human trafficking. They're victims of human trafficking, and it's like there's so much this movie could have had to say about all these different topics, and every time it would start getting heavy, it start getting really be like, all right, you kind of have my attention. They throw in one of the Marvel one-liners that you always criticize them for.
Fart or sit on a whoopee cushion or something. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like this movie could have been good. Aside from the Red Mist, aside from Taskmaster, at the heart of it, the relationships were believable, but they should have fucking hated Dave. There should have been so much more anger and hatred there for him than there was, because like the opening scene crushes you. Why is this character who we've seen doing these unspeakable awful things, why are their parents being treated as if they're like supposed to be allowed to be comic relief? They're the real fucking villains of this to me when I watch it. Like, you abandoned, like, I don't care if they weren't really your fucking kids. And we never really established whether they actually did give birth to them or not. You know, whether they actually were their biological parents at all.
I think they weren't. I think they've. Yeah. You're right. There was never like they directly said it, but it was very heavily implied that they weren't their biological kids.
Well, no, the Dreykov talks about Black Widow's mother. He says like she abandoned you or something.
Yeah, you're right. But no, I just, and I thought that David Harbour's character was a fucking waste of time. Like, like again, like what he was given, what he had to read from that script, he did well with, but he was just goofy. Like, what did he do? Why was he in the movie? What did he
nothing.
like? What did
he
nothing?
Did almost nothing.
They broke him out so he could show them where the other.
And that's it. And then he was just in the rest of it, crying and acting like a drunk or whatever. It was so dumb. And again, like if they had this opportunity to like make him do what he did in the beginning and do the thing that he was told, follow orders, blah, 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 and have this breakout at the end where he's like, no, this is my family. You know, like that would have been a cool, like, moment. It just never happened. It never fucking happened. And the movie just ended. Like
the best this movie could have done would be have that big moment. And you know it's corny, you know it's like cliche, you know it's bad writing, but at least it still gets you a little bit, and you can't help it.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
and we didn't get any of that. Like we spend 15 minutes watching her free fall. First of all, oh my fucking god, the Red Room is a giant floating ship, like 8 times the size.
No, it's invisible. It's a giant invisible floating ship.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. Fucking.
It was really dumb.
Yeah. Nick Fury could find a polyp on my asshole while I'm watching Avengers in my bed at home. You know what I mean? Like he could, like, there's no way he doesn't know exactly where the shit is. He probably just doesn't give a fuck. He probably just doesn't want the trouble.
Because he knew that the story they'd get from it would be bad too, so he didn't want to, even bother with it. Right. This movie has a lot of problems on its own, and then on top of it, like Scott and Derek said, I think it was Derek actually.
There's a single hair on my can, and I'm going to check under my desk for Herman Cain real quick, guys. Give me a second.
Well, it can't be him.
Yeah, he's dead. All right, sorry. Close call, guys.
Yeah, he died of the coof.
Was one of my own. Must have been one of my own hairs here. Wasn't a pube, but it was the same color, right?
Right.
Okay, that's fair.
Got to be a chesty.
So besides the problems this movie had, it just came out. It might have been more forgivable had it come out in the right place, which was to actually come out before Endgame and Infinity War came out. Like this movie feels like it has no place.
This movie took longer to come out than John Travolta, right? Like it's just been fucking forever. We all knew exactly what we were getting, and we just been waiting.
We know John Travolta.
It's okay.
There's only so many.
Yeah, you were in Grease and Hairspray. We know.
Yeah, it's okay. There's only so many singing roles you can take on before we all get a little wise to it.
And the thing is, we all accept you as you are, John Travolta. We just
none of us would have been mad had you told us 20 years ago.
Yeah, we all love you. We just don't love the Church of Scientology. That's
it's the Scientology that we don't like. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Same page.
Which is but ironically, I think him having that they have dirt on him is why he hasn't left the Church of Scientology. They probably got a video of him and Tom Cruise like deeply passionately making out.
Yeah, like blowing each other. Just really.
I would watch that.
Yeah. Same.
I would totally watch it.
Just have Hans Zimmer do the soundtrack like it's a fucking sci-fi movie.
We're like Battlefield Girth, am I right?
Welcome to Girth.
Okay, so this is why I wanted to do these back to back. Moving from what's arguably the worst piece of content Marvel's put out in quite some time to what I would posit is the best thing Marvel's done since Infinity War and Endgame have released. And depending on how you view the quality of content, maybe even better. So Loki is done. The finale is out. Spoiler alert, it came out this past Wednesday, but if you haven't seen it by now, then fuck you, turn this off. I'm just going to blow my load out the gate. There's so much stuff I love about the show as a whole, but specifically how the final episode set up the MCU moving forward. Yeah. And just as a whole, because the previous couple of Marvel shows one of our biggest problems with it was that they were inconsequential. At the end of the day, nothing happened that moves the status quo for really anybody else. Maybe in some weird transient way down the line it will be brought up, but overall we replaced Captain America with Anthony Mackie, which he's going to do a great job. I love him as Cap, but the show didn't need to exist.
No, it felt like we've been moving pawns around on a chessboard, right? Like they're setting up for the big moves. It's like you can set up for the big moves in like a post-credit scene too, bro. Like you can make it a 2-minute post-credit scene instead of wasting 9 hours of our fucking time.
Right. And there's two reasons that this finale really, really got me on board. Was one, it does have these big, this is big. This is phase 4 of Marvel is going to be this multiverse thing, which we all knew, but we didn't know how they were going to do it. And now we see how it starts. And it starts from Loki, which is funny. And then the second thing is, one of my other biggest complaints about the shows is not only being inconsequential, but the finale just being the standard Marvel fuckfest of CGI. Yeah. And while there was lots of CGI in this finale, the entire episode was basically a conversation with the charming Jonathan Majors as Kang, which is my other great love of the series, which is that they just introduced...
He Who Remains.
Which is also cool, but I'll get into that later after we've all had our conversation. I have a lot to say about this. The way they handled Kang's introduction, I thought was brilliant. Like I can't even use another word. I thought it was brilliant. They didn't give us the final big bad version of him. We got a variant of the one who will inevitably be Kang the Conqueror. I fucking loved it. I thought he was great as Kang. The way they set it up, I thought it was easy for people to understand, but there's a lot of ramifications around it. Fucking Tom Hiddleston is just he's a national treasure. And I just love the whole show, and I'm gonna stop talking now, and I'm gonna let Scott go.
Tom Hiddleston has gone on record saying that he would be happy to play Loki for another 10, 15 years. And I think
that fucking cheddar.
He'll be happy to put his grandchildren through college with his Loki money. But I think he's one of the few people that I don't get tired of the shtick. I don't like. I get why like Tony Stark had to go. Very one note. I very much loved Steve Rogers' incarnation in the MCU. But again, like they all have like four interesting arcs, right? Now we're introducing variants. Jonathan Majors was absolutely fucking brilliant in this. Like every second he was on screen, I was just like, it didn't have any action really at all, other than like a quick little thing between Sylvie and Loki. And I still like when the fighting was happening, like, oh yeah, shut the fuck. Get it over with. I want to get back to Jonathan Majors fucking owning this scene, like just absolutely just decimating. I know we missed a few episodes because of holiday weekends and things like that.
Right.
So we're kind of recapping from multiple episodes. I would say as an overall, I thought the series was phenomenal. I think it's one of the best things that they've ever done. And I think the only issue it suffered from was pacing, which Derek covered a few times in earlier episode reviews. I felt that when they got to this pocket dimension where Alioth existed, we would have spent more time in that area. If Alioth would have been built up over time to be this more menacing, terrifying force. I mean, granted, he fucking was. But Owen Wilson's character, Mobius, and Sylvie and Loki all finding each other so neatly and so quickly the way they did, it made that journey feel like it was cut short abruptly because of timing restraints. And it also made that encounter with Alioth where old-timey Loki, with glorious purpose, sacrifices himself to save the day. It made that feel a little bit less impactful too. Don't get me wrong, that's still like fucking that moment right there for me is the best moment in the Disney Plus MCU era. Is fucking old Loki just slamming his fists down for the final time as a life passes through him.
It's so great how that costume is made to be chintzy and golden age referencing, and I'm actually laughing at it because it looks so basic. And then by the end of it, I don't even notice it because he's being so fucking badass.
Yeah, he's such a good character though. Like, it's such a good actor.
Mm-hmm.
His story was very sad.
Yeah.
His backstory. Well, just to recap for everybody, he was like, I saw what happened, and I saw that I was always the problem. So I removed myself, and I lived quietly alone for a very long time. And then he said something really sad, like, and I started to miss people. I started to miss Thor, and I wanted to know how everyone was doing. And the minute I tried to leave the planet, TVA showed up.
Classic
like,
Loki
fuck.
is the best thing that happened in the MCU. Seriously, I mean that. He's the best, short, sweet, to the point. Everything that he needed to do, he did within the like episode and a half that he was in. And he made the greatest fucking point so succinctly, but so like fully. He's basically showed up and said, hey, Loki, I'm you if you lived and realized that you're a fucking scumbag and that like you should live for more things than just yourself. And ultimately, he sacrifices himself to save Loki. Well, you know, to save the timeline or whatever. But I mean,
right.
And him yelling out glorious purpose, that is my favorite moment in any Marvel anything I've ever seen when he screams out glorious purpose.
There's something special about seeing you be happy about something Marvel. This is making me feel good inside.
It's warming my heart a little bit.
Dude, I was like getting choked up. I'm kind of tearing up right now just talking about it. I thought that moment was perfect because you always hear throughout all these films, you see Loki talk about glorious purpose. And what he means is always like something for him where he's on top and he wins and he dominates and this is like him, this old Loki, this version of him that lived into old age, like just laughing at the end. I found my glorious purpose. Dude, I thought that was so fucking good. I thought it was incredible. I thought that episodes 4 and 5, just covering very briefly what we missed over the past couple weeks, were excellent episodes. I don't remember what happened in which one, but they were great. They were incredible. Like even Veronica was like engrossed with the show at that point. I thought that it started off not bad, but kind of like kind of slow, and it really found its footing. And look, I'm just going right on the record and saying when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. This show was great. I thought it was going to be just like okay. I felt like it started. We all
were kind of weirded out by how the show was going to happen. We're like, Loki, he fucking died. Why are we doing this?
Yeah. It ended up being really. It was good. I'll say this though: the one thing that I differ from you guys on is, I think you guys said the actor's name is Jonathan Majors. I really didn't like his performance. Like like the concept of what was happening. And let me be clear: I'm not shitting on the episode because actually, the further away I get from it, the more I like it. The concept of what was happening, I thought was cool. Basically, him saying like, you have a choice before you. You can either kill me and all of my variants will come to take my place, or like I thought that was cool. That we were essentially this whole time everyone's like, oh, the timekeepers are Loki himself. They're this god. It's this MCU character that hasn't been introduced yet. It was just another variant, of course, of a big bad in the MCU. But still, I thought that was a cool reveal. He was just so like familiar and like weird to me. It was almost like young Bill Cosby, like boo, you gotta fix the timeline for you. Like it was just so like it didn't land for me. And the fucking scene with him talking was so long, it just didn't end. But again, conceptually, like the actual like what was being accomplished in that scene was incredible. But him, I hated.
I just got like that was incredible. But the way it tracked to me was that like this guy was the eventuality, right? Like it all boils down like there was a great war. This is the variant that won, but he probably didn't win by using brute force. I mean, like he's clearly charismatic and weird and like whimsical enough that he wasn't viewed as a direct threat by all the other variants of Kang. You know what I mean? Yeah. Which is why he's he who remains. He's not Kang the Conqueror. You know, like he says, "Oh, I've been referred to this, and this, a conqueror, or this or that." Yeah. I think this guy literally Game of Thrones his way into a position of power. This guy definitely did some seedy shit, but he's also been there for so long that it seems like he hasn't interacted with people in so long that he's fucking socially awkward. He's so weird. Like Miss Minutes is the only person he's dealt with. He's like, I'm much older than I look. I've been here forever, and he's ready to he's ready to pass it on. Like he orchestrated everything to that point to lead them there, which does feel like a trick. I get why Sylvie stabbed him. I get it, but I don't know, man. I love the performance. I love that he was like the one that isn't the threat, the one that isn't the looming ominous archetype of a Marvel villain is the one that outsmarted, because that's the reality, right?
No, and I think that the goal that they're doing, just real quick, just to interject, is I think what they're doing is they're giving us a palette for this face of Jonathan Majors, as you said his name is,
right? Yeah.
Like, oh, this is who. So the next time you see his face as Kang, you expect that, but he's not that
100%
anymore.
Well, yeah,
I think that's what they're trying to achieve.
Yeah, it's when you eat some spicy tuna roll and you eat that little piece of ginger, you get a little nip, and you're like, oh. You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna be expecting that spicy volcano roll to slap like it's gonna, but it's gonna. Yeah,
which is intelligent, right? Like if that's their plan, it's intelligent writing. It is, because I don't feel threatened by this guy at all. So
by comparison, no matter what the big bad Kang is, he's gonna look 10 times more threatening and ominous, because the first one we got was so like such a likable, charismatic, little doodle, little boop.
I 100% think that's what they're doing. I would be surprised if it's not what they're doing. And I thought, in this, now that we've all kind of given like base thoughts, they did a little switcheroo on me here. So when people were talking about who's going to be behind the TVA, obviously Kang was a huge, like, this is probably who it is, because there were a lot of nods to it. In episode 5, in the kind of the Void Realm, there are some buildings in the background that bear the name of the company that Kang runs. There's a whole ton of comic book reference nods to Kang. Alioth himself. In the comic books, Kang has a city at the end of time called Kronos. Alioth guards the area outside of it. But, there were so many things. It's like, it's got to fucking be him. But one of the other options was like, well, it could also be He Who Remains, which is a separate character in the comics, completely separate. He looks like the most decrepit white dude you've ever seen. Super old, not a Loki. So when they walk in,
Christopher Lloyd was back there as He Who Remains. Can you imagine how
that'd
great
be lovely.
Right?
That'd be great.
Yeah.
But so like as Doc Brown, just because.
Yeah.
Oh, have a seat.
It's your kids' money. It's your kids. Gotta do something about your kids.
It's your kids, Loki. I can't do that accent, so I just had to say my line. But they did. Marvel typically has this, and it usually annoys me, but here it didn't. Typically, they will take nods from different comic book references and simplify them down into one thing.
Yeah.
And normally that can annoy me for one reason or another, because they can sometimes lose the nuance of those individual elements. But in this case, I loved it, because He Who Remains, let's be honest, is a weird comic book thing. Doesn't need to be in the real. So when they said He Who Remains, I went, oh shit. And I was kind of like, you surprised me, but also kind of disappointed, because it looked like it was going to be Kang. And then I immediately said to Samantha, I was like, well, that makes sense, because this is the Loki show. So when they said He Who Remains, my brain went, that's how they're keeping it self-contained. It's not actually Kang. We know Kang is going to be in Ant-Man 3. That's already been announced. That's where Jonathan Majors was cast for Kang, was Ant-Man 3. So I thought this is going to be He Who Remains, and they're going to reference Kang, and then but then, he's like, I've been called many things. Again, I've been called Conqueror. There's a whole bunch of cool nods.
Yeah.
And they go through the whole little storytelling bit of the multiversal war, like Scott talked about. And I thought all of that was awesome world building. I thought it was really good in explaining how we're all of a sudden going to be going into the multiverse.
Yeah, we're getting Battle World, bitch.
Yeah,
we're getting Secret Wars. It's like the Russo brothers have been on the record saying the only thing they would come back to direct would be a Secret Wars movie, and that seems to be the exact direction we're going in, because the Russo brothers have made Disney $6 billion so far. $6 billion, and that's as of Endgame, like when like initial release. We're not talking like post, like DVD and Blu-ray sales.
That's a lot of change.
Whole lot of change.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just can't say how much the lore in this was meaningful and impact, and is going to mean so much moving forward. And I don't know. I can't say anything else about this without just, at this point, I've finished the show off, and I'm just playing with it, and the show's like, oh, it's sensitive, stop touching it.
If I could just have a second to spit on it, Chris.
Just to help you out a little bit.
Sure.
I mean, I think one of the most interesting parts about this is the implication that not only are there thousands of Kangs, thousands of Lokis out there, but also big bads we've already seen done in this timeline, right? So Killmonger could very well reprise his role and be on the side of Kang. Kang could go from dimension to dimension, picking all these nefarious people out and building essentially his own anti-Avengers. That would make the Thunderbolts look like a steaming pile of dog shit, which is really all they are, right? It's like when you play Marvel vs. Capcom and you're like, well, I don't want to be Iron Man 2. I guess I'll be War Machine because he's a different color, and I'll know which character I'm playing when I'm fighting my exact copy. Right? That's how I feel about the way I'm seeing them build the Thunderbolts out. It's like, oh, this is Black Widow, but not really. Her hair's blonde this time. Oh, this is Captain America, but his armor, it's black and gray. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, fuck out of here. But Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror could build a super team of some of our most likable villains from the past. What if there's other Thanoses out there still? I fucking hope not. I'd love to see.
What if there are?
Oh, well, yeah, but hopefully they don't make a reappearance. But I would love to see Ronan the Accuser come back.
Yeah,
I feel like he was underused. We got to see him a little bit pre.
That's Lee Pace, baby. Lee Pace is great in every fucking role that he does.
Yeah, I thought he was incredible.
Ronan the Accuser.
Ronan the Accuser was one of the best villains of the MCU.
He was great.
Yeah.
And then even in the Hobbit movies, which were almost irredeemable, Lee Pace as Thranduil was like one of the redeemable parts of those movies. He was fucking excellent as Thranduil.
Okay, that's one of the dwarves, right?
No, that's okay.
One of the elves.
So I don't know his dad.
Okay,
it's all right.
Okay, but it's been a while since all I remember is that one guy has like a giant like throat herpy. That fucking that goblin in the mine. I just remember being like, why does every one of these movies need like a big lumpy fella? Like, why? We're doing
every
more
time
lumps.
he talks, it's like, I can't even look at you. You're jiggly. You're jiggling.
Yeah.
It's making me look. The only other thing I wanted to say was I loved that at the end, any other MCU movie or show, ultimately with the conversation between He Who Remains, Sylvie and Loki, and then Sylvie and Loki have their little fight, and Loki's basically saying, I think this guy is telling the truth. I don't know he is, but I think he is. In any other of these movies, Sylvie would have been like, you're right, it's the right thing. But no, that makes no fucking sense whatsoever.
She stayed true to her character.
This has been your life's purpose, and you meet a guy for 2 weeks, and you just believe him when he doesn't even fully believe himself. You'd be like, get the fuck out of my way. It makes no sense. And that's the biggest criticism that I'm seeing about the finale. Oh, she's so dumb. She just damned the whole universe. She didn't damn the whole universe. She didn't believe what the guy was saying. I wouldn't fucking believe him either. If I had been living in apocalypses for my entire life and had one goal in mind, one thing that justified living where I see everybody die for all of time. She's
radicalized by her glorious purpose.
Yeah.
And I mean, as Guardians live for hundreds of years, we don't know how long she's been living like this. You know what I mean? Like just seething in her hatred. And I actually, it's one of the moments of Jonathan Majors' performance that I really loved when she's like, "Why did you?" When she gets all pissed off and he grow up, hypocrite, murderer. The whole section was great, and I just I fucking I had to go watch it again.
Yeah, seriously, just hearing you do it, I'm like,
ooh,
I got some tinglies.
Yeah.
You tingles and you jingles. Final thoughts before we move on? Anything else anybody wants to?
We got season 2, boys. We are confirmed for season 2.
Right. Shit, glad you mentioned
Thank fucking God. Again, this show's gonna really lend itself well to weekly episodic content. I don't know if we're gonna get that far. I feel like now that they've introduced the next big bad, maybe some of the movies will take the helm, is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping Loki's stuck in another universe where he's starting fresh. He's not a variant in this universe anymore because the fucking sacred timeline doesn't exist. Right? He's not a wanted man.
Right. That's true.
Which begs which raises the question, like, how does the TVA actively function now in a world where Kang and not the Timekeepers are the Overlord? Right. There's
a lot of interesting questions, especially and that last scene was sad when Mobius didn't recognize him.
That really hurt. Yeah, that sucks.
Right? I was like, he's like, who are you?
Yeah.
Wow.
I just want. I don't know how many seasons we're gonna get of the show, but I want it to end with Owen Wilson on a jet ski. I fucking need it.
It has to happen.
I need it. Yeah. I need it so bad. I love him in this so much.
What's it called?
He really was good. I talked shit leading up to it on Owen Wilson. He was really good in this.
Yeah. Well, we all agree that he is a living meme. Like his wow is like when you think of Owen Wilson, you think of that fucking soundbite more than you think of anything else. But he really is. I mean,
he was a honey.
Your baby boy Wes Anderson didn't put him on all those movies for no reason. You know what I mean? He's got some chops.
Yeah.
He got some big old meaty pork chops.
And he looks good gray. I mean, he might as well get in line, too, for the Ye old glory hole.
I could do that if he talked to me, but I can't see his face.
Yeah.
I can't.
The thing is, like, his nose is bent, like he's on the other side.
There's
of
a
the
hole
glory
for
hole,
his dick and his nose up top. Just his nose hanging out.
Oh no! All right, boys, moving on because I want to talk about this.
Hang on, no! I told you I wanted to tie in my Spider-Man thoughts, and it's going to take.
Shit. Okay,
it's going to take 45 seconds, so don't worry.
All right,
My
4 to 5.
excitement or possibly concern is that we have a lot of multiversal shit happening, right? We have the timeline just got fucked up. We have Wanda messing with trying to pull her kids back into real reality or whatever the fuck you would call it. We have obviously shit going on in Spider-Man 3 with Toby and Andrew Garfield showing up. And so clearly the multiverse, multiverse of madness is going to be the next big like Avengers scale movie. Yeah. And so how much that they're putting into it.
No Way Home comes out first.
No, I know, but I feel like that's just another setup. I feel like Quantumania is another setup.
No Way Home is probably going to be pretty big scale wise.
No,
you're right. It is like a setup though to a larger like what's going to happen because of this.
Yeah. And so it makes me go, all right, they're clearly putting a ridiculous amount of eggs in this basket. And so a part of me goes, well, that's exciting. Like they believe that this story is good enough that it's going to culminate in like an Avengers scale movie but a part of me is horrified by it, that it's just going to get goofy. So my answer to your question is how do I feel about seeing Toby again in a Spider-Man movie? Off the cuff, I'm super excited to see him. But I feel like of the examples we have so far, which are WandaVision and Loki, I think is it. WandaVision obviously kind of fell short, and Loki like hit it for me. I think Loki was a good setup. So it's like what team is working on, like what part of the teams working on Loki are going to be also involved with No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness.
Right.
And what part of the teams that were on WandaVision, you know what I mean? Like, so really the answer is underwhelming. The answer is, I don't know, but I will say that I'm more interested in No Way Home now after seeing this and seeing that, like, that's clearly what they're setting up, this like multiversal thing. And like all of these movies and shows are kind of a part of the setup for the Big Bang. It's like, all right, now I'm more interested to see how they fuck up the timeline in the next thing. So
right.
I'm a little more excited for No Way Home now, I have to say.
Yeah. I think I just kind of had an epiphany, boys. I know it's probably about 6 months, 3 months, 4 months too late.
Okay.
I just figured out how we could have fixed WandaVision. It just hit me.
Fix it, Danny.
Okay.
Fix it up.
Fix me.
Instead of showing them blinking forward decades at a time through television and having their kids grow up before their eyes, like in a snap of the fingers, what if Wanda and Vision existed as a family throughout all these eras, but for them time passed normally, like decades actually passed in this loop where she was altering time. She could alter physical world, but she can't alter passage of time, right? She can't slow it down. That doesn't make sense. Or even, I don't know, like her attachment to her kids, it makes sense, I'm sure. Because like, I'm sure from the second you guys saw your sons for the first time, there's nothing you wouldn't do to for them, right? You jump in front of a fucking train for them. But also the realization that if you found out that they weren't real tomorrow, if they were just blinked out of existence, that'd be soul crushing. But at the same time, it's if you found out like what 3 days after you had a child that they weren't real, like it doesn't track to me as someone who doesn't have kids. It feels weird, and I'm sure that it is. I'm sure it still is totally realistic. But having her actually watch them grow up, like day by day, step by step, Family Matters style,
gone a long way.
Would have gone a long way if the implication would have been that they had actually aged in real time, and that she had been living this fake life for over a decade, and then suddenly had it torn out from underneath her. That would give her the motivation to do whatever needed to be done, and I feel like that would have been more of a fulfilling conclusion. Just having that in there, like seeing all that ripped away and seeing the way she reacts would feel like a natural evolution, as opposed to like, oh, okay, like nothing, like none of this mattered, but she got a book. She got a book out of it.
Yeah, that would be interesting though. I have to agree with you. Like maybe there was something about the 50s timeline that S.H.I.E.L.D. honed in on, so she had to move forward in time, but that also meant that she aged.
Yeah,
I think that would have been pretty cool. I have to agree with you there.
Well, not even like her like aging in real time, but just like time working differently in her little thing, right? Like so like all the decades we see them living through, they're actively living through those timelines. The episode takes place in the 50s. There's a 10-year gap in their real time between that and the one that takes place in the early 70s.
Yeah.
And
oh,
like,
or even kind of like Click, like
yeah.
She
like
moves
time's-
forward in time, but she missed out on that 10 years. Like she didn't see the growth of her kids, and now she wants to start over and see it again.
Oh no, I'm talking exact opposite. We're like we're only seeing bits and pieces. We're seeing the bits and pieces where like big things happen because like everyone has big moments in life where something feels a little off once in a while, right? Like
Yeah.
Truman was in that fucking bubble for like 30 fucking years before a fucking light fell out of the sky, right? Like shit's gonna be weird, but who's to say that she wasn't in this weird the hex for 5 years of what seemed to be 5 years to her, living out this life before the fucking the drone crashed, right? Like it could be something along those lines where like inside the hex, time feels like it's passing as normal, but it's moving at a quicker rate than it is outside the hex, right?
Mhm.
We've seen shit like that implemented in Interstellar, where the one planet time passes, it feels like minutes to you, but on
Right.
Earth it's been years. So why couldn't there be something like that where like, but also like it's because it's magic fucky wucky stuff. They're not actually aging. The people that are trapped there aren't aging.
It's called timey-wimey.
Timey-wimey fucky wucky stuff. But also like, what if they were though? What if these people had aged 20 years? They lost 20 years of their life in what was days on the outside world. That would make her even harder to root for. As you know what I mean? It would make her way more of a villain, and also make that arc where she realized what she did way more impactful. She's like, oh fuck, I've stolen years from these people, not fucking weeks, not days. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just food for thought.
I like that idea. And also, timey-wimey.
Timey-wimey, fucky wucky.
All right, let's go. We got 15 minutos. I want to get to Fear Street conversations, and if we don't have a whole lot to say on this, then we can get to the next one. So first and foremost, I'm gonna once again take the lead and say I like 2 and 3 or 1 and 2. The first half of the third one is really bad, but then they cut back to present day, and the present day stuff is fine. It's not amazing. It's good. They cut back to 1994. These movies, especially the first 2, had that really like 90s slasher feel.
Yeah.
And it was a weird balance they struck between like we're following a cast of younger kids, so sometimes the mood can feel a little lighter, a little more artificial even, I would say, because some of the kid actors were not the best on the planet. But some of those kills though, oh boy. And I know Scott has the same one on his plate that I do. And I'm just going to spoil it right now, which is the bread slicer was the most brutal thing. I did not expect some of the brutality in some of these kills in this movie. And I was like, what the fuck? All right, let's go. Like,
Yo, the bread slicer kill is one of the goriest kills I've ever seen.
It was awesome. And the rest of the movie was so tame that like I was like, I figured she was going to like kick him and get out. Dude, when it first hit her and she was like screaming when blood, I was like, "What the fuck?" It completely took me by surprise.
That and the thing is like they all have these little redemption arcs where all these kids are so fucking like they're 90s, they're like little cocky, little arrogant R.L. Stein style shitheads, like every Goosebumps protagonist you've ever fucking read about. But like they also all
like
have
you read about.
Yeah. One of those fucky wucky.
That's the best place I've ever been able to use that. I just want to put that on the record.
But they all have like these little redeeming qualities, like right, like you see her at first, you think, oh, she's gonna be the snotty bitch, and then like you like every single character in this. You don't want anything bad to happen to any of them, and then like watching her, the precious little angel baby, get her head sliced into like 5 even pieces by a bread slicer. It was heart wrenching, but it was so fucking awesome at the same time.
It was great.
And all because this bitch wouldn't swallow water. I was screaming at them like, just drink it! Breathe it in! Why are you struggling? You have to die! Do it fast! Part 1 was incredible. Part 2 had like a 45-minute lull at the beginning where it's like, we already set the bar so high with the first one. I was disappointed with 2, I'm not gonna lie. I thought the first hatchet kill was awesome, where the guy gets his face just split in the middle. But we only got 1 killer for like 98% of that movie. And at the very end, we got like a little teaser of some other ones. I wasn't able to, but also like when you get stabbed multiple times, mouth to mouth doesn't bring you back.
Yeah.
That's fucking
Well,
stupid.
well, hang on. Third one fixes that.
Oh.
It does.
Well, I only made it 20
Yes.
minutes into the third one, and I
Do
tried.
you not care if I tell you?
Oh, I don't give a
Why?
fuck at all. I don't care at all.
So the whole thing for our listeners, horrible spoilers. The whole thing is that Sarah Fierce is not actually a bad person. She didn't make a deal with the devil.
Which was not a bad twist. I'm gonna give it.
It
that.
was not.
It
yeah,
really
it was
wasn't.
actually not bad. It was not her. She was
Cursed.
a lesbian, just like our modern day actresses.
She's supposed to be
sorry, it's
reincarnated. She's supposed to be the reincarnation. Sarah
I don't
Fierce?
know. I felt like they just put the actors in those places to make it easy for us.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are a lot of similarities. Anyway,
A lot of people from the first two movies are in the third one, in the first movie
Yeah.
that I saw.
right.
They kind of
So-
just inhabit the town though. They're like avatars. It's not
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
That's
it's
not
like they're
There's actually scenes
telling
where
us-
they
yeah.
show what they actually look, and it's like a different actor.
Oh, okay.
yeah. It's I think they did it just because they didn't want to throw a whole brand new cast of characters at us for
Yeah.
half a movie, and then have them fuck off. Anyway, so
Kind of wish they
Sarah
would have,
Fierce-
right?
a whole bunch of bad shit starts happening in her town, and someone caught her kissing another girl. And back then, with the crazy Puritan religious zealot, what would it be called?
They're called cunts, Chris. They're called cunts.
I guess it's just zealots or zealotry. Someone rats her out, and they are going to burn
The
her at the stake.
Baptists.
And then she goes. You know what? I'm going to be exactly what they think I am. I'm going to go make a deal with the fucking devil to save her. And you go, oh, that's how this works. But that doesn't happen. That's why I agree with Derek. I thought it was a decent twist. It actually turns out that it's what's his name?
Solomon Good. Yeah, Sheriff Good's
He
like
is-
great grandpa.
Okay.
Made a deal with the devil for power and to get whatever he wants, and they passed it down through the generations. So Solomon Good, and then Nick Good in the second movie. That's how he saved her, because they say they use Shadysiders as a sacrifice to continue this pact so that they can hold power. And they actually say
shit.
they actually
So basically,
say,
like Sunnyside or whatever is like siphoning off of Shadyside. That's why they're
Yeah.
so grandiose and
That's
Shadyside.
fuck.
is just-
That's actually fucking cool.
it was a pretty good twist.
it's a good twist. Yeah,
Now, now I gotta
and-
sit through this piece of shit first half
You
of the
should-
movie.
dude, once you get through the 1666 bit, it actually
it's
gets
fine.
good again. It's back in
yeah.
94.
I
It
just
was
like to
good.
say we predicted. I know we talked about like, oh yeah, Back to the Future Part 3 sucks. It's the worst one. Wherever you like to old timey
Yeah.
wimey shit. I don't give a fuck about your saloon.
Timey-wimey, fucky wucky.
Yeah.
it's almost
I don't
exactly
give a fuck about
half
your
the movie.
Salem witch trial bullshit. I don't care. That's why I couldn't sit through the Vitch. I couldn't fucking do it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Your
It's almost
eyes are big like the
exactly-
Cheshire Cat, and you're adorable. I get it. the goat's the bad guy. We get it.
Black
I would-
Phillip, he's excellent. He's a
I
great
would
guy.
rather watch The Lighthouse on an endless loop for all of eternity than sit through the Vitch one time.
How about
Oh
the
my
Northman,
God.
son? Coming out soon.
'Cause
Anyway.
at least eventually I'll be able to sync up my comes with Robert Pattinson's attempted comes, right? And then we can switch bodies. Oh, and now Willem Dafoe's my best friend.
Bringing it back. So yeah, it's almost exactly half the movie is in the old timeline, and then it switches back, and the rest of it's modern. But yeah, so they allude to like that's how he's sheriff, and his brother is the mayor, because he just kind of gets what he wants because of these sacrifices. So that's what they said. Like all things happen for them, and then they show him literally giving her mouth to mouth and saying like, "I won't let you die." And I was like, "Oh shit."
Does he know?
Like, he saved her.
Yeah, does he?
Yeah.
He actively knows
He
about
knew.
this curse this whole time.
They
Oh, he's a
they
piece of
showed
shit.
Nick.
Yeah,
they
he's-
showed Nick Good writing the name of Thomas Slater in the rock. He gives the name to the devil, Thomas Slater, to turn him into the killer.
Oh
So
shit!
the twist actually works
like,
really well.
Like Nick was like a sort of on the fence, not so bad guy in the events of the second one,
Yeah.
where like that's why he saved Ziggy. But that was sort of the thing, like sacrificing someone to save her was sort of what made him go like, all right, I'm going to be a piece of shit then. I already did it, so I might as well just keep doing it.
I
But,
dip my toe in this pact.
yeah, but it was no, I that was okay. My thought is the first one was like okay, the beginning and end were good, and the middle was real like oh my god, it just dragged and dragged. 2 I actually liked way more than I thought I was going to. I agree with your assessment on the beginning. It was kind of like took a while to get started, but once it did, I loved like
Yeah.
the cave channel underneath and everything. And then yeah, 3 we started to watch before the Booley barbecue, and we had to turn it off because we were just like this is fucking boring. And when I got home, I was like, all right, we got to watch this before the podcast tomorrow. And she's like, let's just watch it tonight then, just get it out of the way. And
Ron is such a fucking trooper.
She's awesome. She's the best.
Dude, for real though.
But so we got and again, like for whatever was remaining, maybe a half an hour of the 1666 part, we were like, this movie fucking sucks. Once you get back to 94, it gets kind of good again. Like it's like their whole. I don't want to give it away. If you're gonna watch it, I won't say like what it culminates in. But
I'll watch it. But I have a feeling it's gonna be all the killers from the first one and all the killers from the end of the second one in a big old circle jerk. That little fucking wooden face boy with the wooden mask face boy who looks like the fucking Asbury Park bully.
Yeah.
He may or may not. You know what you should do?
You should honestly just get to the last maybe 10 minutes of the 16. Just fast forward to it. Watch the last 10 minutes of that segment.
Yeah, that's good.
And then just watch the 94.
When she realizes that it's Solomon Good, watch that whole conversation and then let it switch back.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna when we're done this pod, I'm gonna sit down and watch it.
Well,
sick. All right.
We know Scott likes to pull one out when the movie's not that good, so use the first half, tug a couple out.
Yeah, just get it
and then you're
maybe two.
And you're relaxed. You're ready to let the second half flow over you.
I'm gonna play the long game here. I say the thing is, I'm gonna try to sync up my cum with somebody famous so I can switch places with them.
Right. It's a good move.
Yeah,
that's your retirement plan.
That really is though.
As someone else.
It's better than my retirement plan, which is to die before I get old. Die before I need universal health care. I got to decide whether I want to be Ryan Reynolds, Jason Bateman, or Jamie Lee Curtis though, because they all could be pulling one out at the same time. I feel like Jamie Lee's a bad trade-off because like she's gonna die soon and she already needs that yogurt to poop. So Ryan Reynolds is about to have that Disney Plus, that Disney money. But also Jason Bateman, like he can just do whatever the fuck he wants, right? Like people watch Ozark.
Yeah, but Jason Bateman doesn't drink, so oof.
I mean, I would 100%.
You'd have to live with the knowledge that once you switched back, that you made him an alcoholic again, though.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I just can't switch back.
You just
the ultimate irony is if I body swapped with Jason Bateman, he 100% would come murder sue me because I'd be that fat slob in his body. Pick on my nose at a red light while TMZ takes a picture. I'd be the fucking I'd be on Tinder swiping right to everybody who was like an 8 or higher. Like, yeah, I'm Jason Bateman. Fuck me. Who wants to fuck me?
Yeah, I'm Jason Bateman. He wants some celebrity cock.
Yeah. I'm JB.
I'm CC.
I'm leaving in gang now, guys. I got that child support money.
Got that Bateman money.
Yeah.
Them Bateman bucks.
Yeah, I got them Bateman bucks, which means I'm never baiting again, boys.
No need to bait when you're the Bateman.
Got it. We're gonna save the other topics for next week because we got literally 5 minutes left. But I would like to present something for the group. Okay, this could go well or it could go very poorly. For me specifically,
I'm really excited.
Don't get, it's not that funny. It's also not that it's really dumb. So we've already showed that Scott's really good at the Mario sound effects, right? Scott, if you would like to remind us all, just to do a little quick.
Yeah.
Jump.
Whoo! Wahoo! Yippee!
Some of them didn't register. I know they'll be on the final recording because I think you.
Ooh.
Oh, perfect. Got it.
Yeah, got it.
I would like to posit that during my time through Breath of the Wild, and I have tested this with nobody, so this could be really bad for me. I think I do a good Link, and specifically one sound effect, and it's when he's slicing. It might take me a couple to get into it, so bear with me if I.
Okay, please take your time.
Hat. He's slicing. Hat.
I gotta hear this now. I need a comparison.
Hat. When he jumps, and then hat. Somebody, please don't clip this and make fun of me.
Can you do the spin attack from Ocarina of Time?
I forget what that one sounds like.
It's like shit, but you still did it.
Shut up. Ocarina's spin attack. Let me hear it. I'll try that, and then we'll say our goodbyes. Okay. Ocarina spin attack. Let me find a video. Oh, this video is way too long. Hold on. This is a 4-minute video to learn the spin attack. Just show me the spin attack. Like, why does the internet? Why
you
just
like
hold
this? B? That's all you do.
Yeah. Why does it take 4 minutes to learn how to hold a button down? Are they trying to teach Michael J.
They're gonna
Fox how
tell
to
their
do
life
it?
story. Hey guys, it's Poo Poo here. Anyway, my mom died last year of cancer. Like and subscribe to my channel. And it's like, oh my god, can we just get to the thing?
You know, the thing is like when someone
Oh wow, he screams with a childlike rage. I can't.
dude.
Yeah! Oh, that was pretty good. Oh, fuck. Scott still holds the fucking crown, boys. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. How does it make you feel to know that you just King Dick over here?
almost as good as that child's mother when he left him behind, so he didn't have to hear his fucking sign off anymore on YouTube videos.
Oh Jesus!
Do you think like the thing is like, do you think that kid that poo poo pee pee streamer, his mother faked her own death to get away from him, right? Because like she's been siphoning.
The day they became a YouTube streamer, she just started planning her escape.
Yeah. He's like, all right, well, he's making big money now, but also he's not in charge of his own accounts because he's like 15 years old. I'm just gonna siphon stuff into a private account.
Yeah.
Oh
and
yeah.
then fake my own death.
Yeah, she shaved her eyebrows. Like, boy, I really don't feel good today.
Oh no! Okay, Derek, where can everybody find you at? I gotta go now that you made a fake cancer joke.
You can find me on Twitch and Twitter. Twitch sometimes. Dr. Gloom MD. That's DRGLOOMMD.
I dated a girl once who faked having cancer.
So Scott, where can everybody find you at? I feel like I'm trying to guide the train in.
You know where you can't find her? Social media, because everyone found out she was faking cancer, and then they canceled her ass. Talking about you.
You can find Scott at SWEARWOLFE. Yeah, I'll let you do your own sign off.
No, fuck my sign off. I just want to say, you guys should really watch Mythic Quest on Apple TV Plus, whatever the fuck it's called. Really just watch one episode called A Dark Quiet Death. Absolutely incredible. That's all I got. Viewers, listeners, weebs, furries,
Quadrupeds.
wooks. How'd you get in here? Why haven't I smelled you until right now?
Who lets you know?
Do yourself a favor. If you have an iPhone, you get a free year of Apple TV. Just check out Mythic Quest. Season 1, Episode 5, A Quiet Dark Death, is one of the most heartbreaking and beautiful things I've ever seen on television. It's like Mac dancing to come out to his father, but for 45 minutes straight. It's beautiful.
Wow.
Rob,
And if you don't have an iPhone, just hope you have a friend with a Plex server.
or
That's how
pirate.
we
That's how
do
I'll
it.
be
Fuck
watching it.
Apple.
Apple.
The cynical nerd.
Yeah, they got children making iPhones in Indonesia. They don't need your money. They're already hand over fist making making millions. Yeah.
All right, boys. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at TCN Plays. I've been playing. What have I been playing? I've been playing Battlefield 5 the past couple of days. It's been fun to return. We're all very pumped for 2042, but I can't get into it right now because I really, really have to go. This has been episode 36 of the Cynical Nerd Podcast.
This girl shaved her fucking head and everything though. Like she shaved her head and she like she
Oh god.
she posted pictures that she clearly Googled of like a wrist that wasn't hers with a hospital bracelet on it. This girl was crazy.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Bye.
yeah.
Bye. Have a good week. Have a good week, guys.
Bye.
See you later.